Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media. And you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. You've seen other people do it. You've even seen some people do it well, but you know good and well, can't nobody do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course you do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are back. It's going to be another interesting episode. We are going to be dealing with something that I have dealt with before, but we will deal with again from time to time until I see the message being spread enough where we get to the point where, the masses of people are taking it somewhat serious, y'all. The masses of people, not just anybody, not just a person here or there, but no, till the masses of people start taking this as serious as it needs to be taken. And it is what it is. But we are going to talk about, black women should be, y'all hear me? Black women should be the least protected women. Okay. They should be. All right. Now, before we get too far into this, I want to say shout out to all the people who give me views on a regular basis. I appreciate y'all big time. Shout out to all the people who leave comments after the stream. Sometimes y'all even give me good ideas when y'all leave comments after the stream, but it helps with the channel. Shout out to the people who hype me up any chance they get. I know you can't do it all the time, but I mean, say one of them for me. Let me get one a week, y'all. Let me get one a week from every individual person that comes here. Let me get like one a week, okay? And shout out to the people who hit that like button. because that's the king way to help support the channel. Hit that like button, y'all. It does actually make a difference. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, and that's real talk. I definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all who do this. And shout out to the people who go above and beyond the call of duty, the people who become financial contributors at the channel because you do something that and there's no way for me to thank you enough for what you do when you do that. So I appreciate every single one of y'all who actually does that, and that's real talk. And today I want to give a special shout out to Red Pill Sleeper Cell. He is the sponsor of today's stream. He's been a great supporter, and I appreciate him greatly. And that's real talk, and thank y'all to everyone who's done it. Thank you to everyone who's doing it. But shout out to Red Pill Sleeper Cell. He is the sponsor of today's stream. I appreciate you big time, brother. Appreciate you big time. And let me give some shout outs to some of the first people in the chat this morning. When you start the show, it's always great to see that you got a few people right there supporting you, making it known in that chat. But y'all know how it goes around here. As they say, there can only be one. Okay, there can only be one. And shout out to me putting up the show a little late. I thought I had a show up earlier, and then I thought, man, I never did put the show up, so I had to be quick about it. But y'all know who was right on top of it, and that's why I say, y'all, you got to get this man some credit. You got to get this man some credit. You know who was right on top of it when I forgot, and then boom, I quickly put up the Highlander of today's stream. My main man, Chef Mike's Roundtable. He is the Highlander of today's stream. Appreciate you big time, my brother. Appreciate you big time. Thanks for the support and all that you do. And that's real talk. Shout out to I'm Listening coming in right behind them. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you. We got Trail Billy third at the cool table this morning. Representing as he always does. Hashtag long live habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. Hashtag Hey Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Shout out to Music Man 1982 coming through. My main man Shark Sims is here. I think he represents some champions right now. I think he's technically a champion right about now. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Shout out to the Nice Palace. Great to see you. Great to see you. Good to have you in the building. We also got Afro Merchant in the house. Great to see you as well. Great to see you. All the time. Great to see you guys. Great to see you guys. Shout out to the Nice Palace. I'm just curious. He say, Raj, I woke up today. My top silver like black Uru. My top silver like black Uru went in the F. Can I do this? Which kit just for me and must I buy? Now, brother, I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. I ain't probably ever gonna buy anything to color my hair. I'm just tell you the truth, brother. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I ain't gonna ever buy nothing to color my hair 9 times out of 10, y'all. If I get gray, I get gray. If I don't, I don't. It is what it is. You got to earn them stripes, y'all. Some of us, we think getting gray is a bad thing, but you know what? You got to earn them stripes. A lot of folks don't make it to these ages where the gray start coming in. And I know there's some people who get it early because they just wear it too much. But me, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna take it as it comes. That's real talk, y'all. There's people who ain't gonna never get gray. I'm gonna get mine as it comes, and that's real talk, y'all. So you ain't gonna never see Roger worried about no gray, okay? Somebody gonna have to probably pay me a good amount of money for me to be putting some stuff in my head because I don't even care. That's real talk. I don't even care. I'm smooth no matter how I come. That's the way I look at it. I'm just smooth no matter how I come. That's how it is with me, man. You got to earn that. That's real talk. Okay. Now, y'all, get into this subject, and I'm gonna do this from time to time because I do think it's an important subject. And I think, it's something that should be taken seriously. And I put 2 links in the description. If you didn't see, I put 2 different links in the description. We have a situation where a young lady was getting attacked. Okay, she got attacked for a moment. based on the information given, we don't know that she did anything. She's just a person at a laundromat, and that's all it is. A woman at a laundromat. What's wrong with that? The day comes, you get outside, you get things done that you need to do. She needed to do her laundry. We can't say nothing's wrong with a sister going to do her laundry. But there was another brother there, okay? And that brother, you would think, was doing his laundry. It's not a big deal, okay? It's not a big deal, okay? But whatever his reasons are, now he's obviously a little off in the head. And you know what? I want to give credit to the man in the interview. You know, you don't see too many people, say, hey, you know what? I feel sorry for both of them. It's actually pretty good to see a man say it. I feel sorry for both of them. Why? He don't want to see the lady get attacked. He don't want to see the lady have something bad happen to her, whatever the case is. But he also understands that he don't want a man who's obviously not in the right frame of mind. Something's clearly wrong with him. When you attack a random person at a laundromat, that means something's clearly wrong with you. Okay? Something's clearly wrong with you. That's a brother who needs some help from a mental health standpoint. Now, I'm glad there's people at this particular point in time who are starting to take mental health more seriously. At least the ideal of mental health more seriously. I think a lot of people are looking at it in the wrong way, or they're misusing the actual ideal of mental health. But when you have a black man who's willing to attack a random person, and when you look into the story, you see nothing was really going on. See, that's a brother who needs some help from a mental standpoint. People, they play too many games when it comes to mental health, and I don't think people take it serious enough. And there's actual people who truly need some mental health assistance. Okay, he would obviously be one of them. Now, some people may say, well, Rod, you don't really know what's going on with the guy. If he attacked somebody randomly that he don't know at a laundromat, what else do I need to know? Okay, that's not normal. Okay, a black man just attacking anybody is already abnormal. And I understand people say, well, no, we see stuff all the time. I understand that, mainstream media pushes an idea that black men are these very bad men. But when you look at reality, that's not the case. It's not normal for a black man to attack anyone, let alone someone he does not know, has no association with, and is not associated with anyone she knows. That's extremely abnormal. So the brother obviously going through something. And I'm going to say shout out to everybody who's helped to the point that even the brother on the news said something about, hey, man, I feel bad for him, too, because he knows something got to be wrong with him. He knows something got to be wrong. This is not just a vicious man that's just out terrorizing people for no reason. No, something's wrong with him. And it's nice to see somebody else see it. Okay, it's nice that somebody else saw that and made some mention about it. Okay, whether the news really wanted to say it or not, hey, shout out to them for getting it up there. But I don't know what news station it was. It was just a clip I happened to come by. I'm gonna say shout out to that news station though, because doing that story, and even that reporter, the gentleman, the way his hair was, that was the first time I've seen somebody on the news. I'm pretty sure it was local news, but that's the first time I've seen any young man on the news, and he got braids in his hair and whatnot. So, hey, shout out to that news station, whatever it is. I mean, I'm just saying I'm glad they let the man have the job to do what he's doing. Not the look I would expect, but hey, it is what it is, okay? But, I also put a clip in where you had a young man and a young woman, okay? Now, these two folks, they make content on the regular, okay? So it's a joke to them, okay? Or at least to her, it's a joke. Well, I mean, it was a joke to him, too, because he was in on it, They do some funny stuff here or there, all right? Now, we saw the young lady call her brothers, okay? uh, Hold on. Shout out to Afro Mercy. He said Allen Iverson doing the news now. Well, you don't see that every day. I'll just say that, y'all. You don't see that every day. You don't see that every day, Afro Mercy. But it wasn't Allen, man. It wasn't. I'm pretty sure that was not the actual Allen Iverson. I don't know what that young man's name is. But I don't know one thing if that was the actual Allen Iverson. I was shocked by it, though. I'm gonna tell y'all that I was shocked by it. And who knows, y'all? Could be one of them situations where it's his first day and his last day. I hope that ain't the case. I don't think that's the case, but we'll see if he moves up in the ranks, and see if we see him on national news anytime soon. I don't think that's gonna happen, yo. He gonna have to make a decision about that. Hey, either I want to move up in the game, or I'm gonna have to change this hair. I think he gonna have to make a decision. I don't think we're gonna see him on Dateline anytime soon, y'all. But I ain't rooting against him, though. I'm definitely not rooting against him. But getting back to it, y'all, you got these content creators. They're a couple, and they make content together, right? So they did some more content, and the young lady called to give her brothers the idea that she got hit by her man. And I do think a lot of people will see a clip like that and see the gentleman's reaction on the phone. Okay. When you talk like that over the phone, there's some people who believe they'll do something. There may be some people who believe they ain't gonna do nothing. And that's what some folks believe. You ain't about to do nothing. Now, in their minds, this is a private conversation. Okay, so they're expressing their real feelings to their sister. They a couple. They know their sister is with this guy. They are a couple. But when you take that thought of my sister's gonna be hurt or my sister has been hurt, even if they know the guy for a period of time, even if they see him as a good guy. Now, keep in mind, y'all, based on what I can tell, because I've seen stuff from this couple for a while. They are together. Based on how they talk, they live together. Okay, based on how they talk, they live together. Now, even though this one turned out to be a joke, which I'm very glad that it turned out to be a joke, and I understand that's your sister, at least in this particular scenario. Guy calls another guy, so they about to blow the spot up. They're about to blow the spot up. Now, at the end of the day, as a man, what am I supposed to do with this information? Okay? What am I supposed to do with this information? Now, if I was in a laundromat and I saw a sister get attacked the way she did, I would think I would help. At least I definitely used to thinking that way. I definitely would probably help. Why? Because it's still a random person being attacked. It's not like he knew her or anything like that. Now, if I don't know you and I see that you're not together, I probably would give it more consideration to step in. Because that's the only time I've ever really thought about stepping in anyway. Anytime I've seen a man with a woman, or I see that they know each other, got something going on with each other, you can't pay me to step in. I'm just going to keep it real with you. You literally can't pay me to step in. I've told y'all before, I used to do security. Y'all think I ain't never seen a couple argue with each other? Y'all think I ain't never seen a couple get heated with each other? And I could have stepped in because I'm quote unquote security. And I used to tell a few folks here and there, They be like, man, you gonna do something? I'd be like, for what? Do something for what? You know? I don't really care that they finna go at him. You know? As long as, hey, you know, sometimes it's like that you protecting a place, like say you're doing security, but you protecting the cars at a parking lot. Okay, you at a parking garage. I've done stuff like that. Two people getting into it. It's a man and his chick, and people say, "Man, you need to do something." No, I don't, because they still moving. They not stopping. They arguing. As long as they walking, it ain't. I don't really care. You're not finna hitting under the cars. You ain't. He ain't finna take her head and put it across the car. They still walking. I don't need to get into that. As long as you keep it moving, you can keep it yelling. Okay, that's my thing. As long as you keep it moving, you can keep it yelling. You know, I've literally, you know, other folks, I've talked to them. I say, look, man, y'all need to calm down because it look like y'all about to get into it. And I don't care that y'all finna get into it. Just don't get into it here. Okay? Wherever here happened to be, just don't get into it here. Okay? Because I don't care that y'all going at it. Look, brother, don't make my job hard. That's all I'm asking you to do. Don't make my job hard. All right? I don't care what y'all do. Just go across the street from me. Okay? Move past this area here, you know. Long as you doing it where it don't affect me, I'm 100% cool with y'all getting into it because I don't care nothing about y'all's situation. I don't care nothing about what y'all arguing about. But hey, they paying me to make sure this little spot clear, this little spot cool. Just get past my spot, okay? Y'all can go at it full throttle if you ask me. Just get past my spot. So when y'all go at it, it don't affect me. You know? That's something I've literally done as being paid to be a security officer. You know? Now, some people may say, well, Roger, you being lazy. Some people may even say, Roger, you scared. Scared of what? Scared of what? Ain't nobody mad at me. I'm not finna get knocked out. What am I scared of? Some people may take attitude of, man, you know, what if he hit that woman in front of you? I guess she just hit then. That's really not my issue. Now, if I'm doing security and somebody get hit where I happen to be located, that could turn into an issue for me because now I have to address it. I ain't addressing that. Just no more than please move it out of my area. Okay, as long as you get away from what I'm being paid to quote unquote do that security for, I'm good. Okay. I don't care about what's petty between y'all. I don't care about what's real between y'all. I don't care who heart got broken. I don't care nothing about none of that. I don't care if somebody got caught cheating. I don't care what's going on between y'all two. Just keep it moving. Just past my area. And it don't bother me at all. Okay. Just get past my area. Okay. And do it and do you. Now, there would be people who probably, you know, and people have probably seen me. And they probably said, you know, this is a shame. Security won't even do nothing. You know, they probably had those thoughts. Not that they necessarily addressed me with the thought, but they probably had those thoughts. Somebody might have said, dude, a coward, because you know, this chick is only, say she only 5'5", and you know, maybe the dude is 6'2", and they yelling and the guy won't get in. Maybe he's scared. Man, call me scared then. I don't care. I ain't paid to be their counselor. They not my problem at the end of the day, unless they get into it in the place that I'm actually at work at. I just need you to move along. Okay? Am I going to tell this man not to hit this woman? Man, I don't even care if he here, you know? But if you hit it right here, it turns into a problem for me. So I just don't want you to hit it right here. Now, the two guys who stepped in to save this woman at the laundromat, you know? Now, because younger people don't really get a lot of stuff, some people may say those are simps. Well, no, they just concerned citizens at the end of the day. I've never been against men stepping in to help a woman out, and she's dealing with somebody who's not her man. Those are just people who happen to be washing clothes at the same laundromat. They saw what happened. There's nothing wrong with them stepping in because that was not her man. It was kind of clear that that was not her man. So she was just being attacked because this guy's having a mental episode. All right. You ain't never seen a sane man go get a bat to beat up on a black woman. You don't see a sane man doing that. I mean, maybe if they together, maybe she really pissed him off at the wrong time. Maybe they was just going to play ball and then she pissed him off. But no, realistically speaking, you just ain't never seen a sane black man get a bat to attack a woman. Now it's clear they didn't know each other. So two guys stepping in, shout out to them. They heroes at the end of the day. But the thing is, if they didn't step in, can we be okay with that? I want men to really take this seriously, y'all. Can we be okay if those guys didn't step in? Now, if the guy with the bat start beating on a woman with the bat, as gruesome as that may sound to some folks, can you be okay with the fact that the man beat the woman with a bat, and if guys would have been there and didn't do anything? Now, for me, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to have to be okay with that. All right? Not that I think it's a good thing for anybody to get beat on with a bat. I don't think that's good for anybody. But if the guys didn't step in, would I say something about they cowards or, they should be ashamed of themselves or anything like that? No, I wouldn't do that either. Because it ain't their woman. I wouldn't shame them for not stepping in. And that's because black women do a lot of stuff to, throw dirt on black men's name for literally no reason. Now, let me think about this. Okay? Hold on. Shout out to Truth Teller real quick. Truth Teller say, she didn't even realize she gave attitude. Keep sleeping. And you know what I just realized too? I never put the link in the description. I'm going to take care of that now if somebody wants to join. Okay? But shout out to you, Truth Teller. She didn't even realize she gave him attitude. Oh. Yeah, but I mean, obviously the dude is disturbed, y'all. That's clear. Now, if I saw men decide not to get into it, and they witness this thing, they in the laundromat too. All right, is it right to call those men cowards? I don't think we're at that point anymore. Okay, I know back in the day, everybody pretty much would have called them cowards. I don't think we're at that point anymore. I think there's going to be an ideal amongst men at some point in time. Even though women try to shame men to control their actions, I think at some point in time, a good amount of men are going to be affected, and they may be around a situation like this. And I think they ain't going to worry about it. And some people may bother them for not being concerned. Some people may talk about them for not being concerned. Some people may call them cowards for not being concerned. But at the end of the day, they're going to be thinking about all the stuff random black women have said. Not even to them personally. Now, it may hit some people personal, but maybe not even to them personally. But now that we have social media and you got so many people talking, and a lot of sisters do be talking crazy about black men, a brother gonna think about it and gonna be like, you know what, I don't really feel like it. People may question the brother. Man, you was right there. How come you ain't do nothing? Man, I just didn't feel like it. Man, you could have stopped this situation from getting as bad as it was. You was right there. Well, that's true. But I just didn't see a reason to do it. You know, somebody might say, well, hey, it wasn't my woman. My woman, cool. Well, that could happen to your sister. That could happen to your mother. Well, maybe they should pray a little bit more. maybe that's what they need in their life. Maybe they need to pray a little bit more. But I do believe at some point it's going to be a very real thing that it's going to be some brothers that's there and some brothers not going to make that move that people expect them to, which is to jump in. Because realistically speaking, y'all, people going to expect brothers to just jump in no matter what. That is a very real thing. You know, I'm not going to even say that that's a bad thing per se. You know, it keeps down certain nonsense. So it's not necessarily a bad thing per se. But I do believe the average person thinks when a woman's in trouble, her man ain't there, then we as men, we just going to jump in. Now, I'm not going to get mad at you for jumping in. Now, I'm going to say for me personally, I would at least want you to be married to somebody for me to really jump in. You know, not saying I couldn't. I would at least want you to be married to jump in because I think that would help. I'm going to keep it real. Do I ever want to see a woman get beat up in front of me? No, it's not something I particularly want to happen. But if I were to let it happen, you know, I got my reasons. Now, we saw the young lady on the phone call. So, you know, women, you know, they understand that somebody going to come after them. And they like having the idea that guys going to come after them. You know, I can call my brothers going to come through and they going to take care of this dude. I mean, all that sound good, but I tell you, me, I got sisters. Number one, if you tell me you're in trouble, I'm there to help your man's out, okay? You got a man. I will help him with whatever the situation is, okay? Now, when I was young, would I be, more protective of my sister? Yeah, but I've never even had the thought that I'm supposed to protect my sister from her man. I've never even had that thought. You know, if I found out my sister was out here messing with somebody going upside her head, you know, I'd just be like, man, my sister dumb, and keep it pushing. Yeah, that's me, y'all. I'm pretty sure I'd be like, my sister dumb. Such and such went across your sister's head. Her boyfriend? Yeah. What you gonna do? I'm gonna pray for her. That's what I'm gonna. That's what I do. I pray for her, you know. Now I'm pretty sure that at some point, you know, just like regular everyday people, you know, I would have jumped in and been trying to fight or something too. I'm pretty sure that would have. My sister's never brought some guy like that around. I'm just gonna keep it real to y'all. I've never had a sister bring a guy around that would hit on her or anything like that, or would advertise it or even show signs that he going upside her head. My sisters never did that. So let's say they were getting beat on. They were smart enough not to tell anybody. Okay, they sure didn't tell nobody. You know, wherever they got hit, they made sure it was covered. Because I never was suspicious of anybody doing that. Okay, never been suspicious of it. You know, and at this point, they all done got married before. So now the protection is me helping their husbands protect them. You know, that's what it is now. They protection start with their husbands. Now, if he needs some assistance as a man, yes, I'm gonna help you protect your wife because I think it's a good idea for men to be protective over their wives. But you know, it is what it is on that note. Okay. Now shout out to NBA Youngboy. I seen Carmelo, so let me see what he's saying. He says, facts, you don't want to get Carmelo Anthony for defending someone against their boyfriend. Well, I mean, you don't want to go to jail. But, you know, maybe you really should have put, you don't want to get, what was dude's name? Austin Hunter. Was that? No, Hunter was his brother. Austin Metcalf. You may not want to get Austin Metcalf for defending someone against their boyfriend. That would probably be more the right thing to say. Okay, you don't want to get Austin Metcalf for out here, trying to defend somebody against their boyfriend. Now NBA YoungBoy say if you win, you get charged. Well, see, this is the thing. I'm gonna say this. Men got to make sense of stuff. If a woman has a man and she's in trouble, and you step in to help that woman with that man who she was in trouble with, you are going to get charged. See, a lot of guys, we don't think about the stuff the way we haven't been trained to think about stuff the way we're supposed to. You got to think about the immediate, and you got to think about what's going to happen down the road. You helping a woman, is more than likely you're going to get charged, because the only way you probably won't get charged, I mean, now it's positive. You knock him out, you step in, you knock the guy out, possibly you don't get charged. But if you knock him out, that might be the very reason you get charged. That might be the very reason she called the police, because you knocked her man out. See, women be tricky with this stuff. They want you to do something, but they don't want you to do it too much. Yeah, I'm glad you helped me, but I need you to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? So now you embarrass her because you done knocked the man out. From a woman's standpoint, she put love and trust in that man. Some of them going to be simply embarrassed that you knocked your man out. So guess what she got to do? She got to call the police on you because you knocked her man out. Not for stepping in, but you stepped in too much. Yeah. I know it's men that a lot of times that don't really make sense to us, but let's be realistic about it. You stepped in too much. You was supposed to get in there and get my man to stop hitting me and get in there so he could start hitting you, but my man was supposed to win. Now you done knocked my man out. That don't look good. I don't appreciate that. So now she called the police on you. Or there have been cases where, men have jumped in where some guy was literally beating on a woman. Guy jumped in. He started whooping on the dude. So now the focus is different. So now the guy leaves the woman alone and he's fighting with the guy. And you know what some women have done? They've took that time, because now there's two men fighting and she has some relief. She done took a knife out and stabbed the guy that came to save her in the back. Now he go down with a stab wound. All right. Now you could possibly die from that. If she hit you in the wrong spot, you could die from that. Now, if you don't die, now you done got stabbed. You fall on the ground or whatever because you stabbed now. You can't really be fighting no more. So dudes done automatically won. And then he may stop whooping on you because you fall down because you stabbed. And then realize you stabbed, you messed up. So you ain't trying to fight no more. Now you trying to get healthy again. That's what you thinking. I need to call an ambulance or whatever the case is. Folks call the police. What happens? Police gonna have to take down a statement. So what they gonna say? They a couple. What they gonna say? Dude attacked us. That's it. My man was scrapping with him. And while my man was scrapping with him, I had a chance to get my knife out and I stabbed him up. They good. They 100% good at that point. Now, what are you? You a stab dude, and you're going to the hospital. You getting taken up by the ambulance and whatnot. You got medical bills now to deal with. Plus, you got court. Why you got court? Because they going you getting arrested for assault. Okay, you getting arrested. Well, technically assault and battery at that point. You probably getting arrested for assault and battery. Why? Because it's a couple that they got a reason to make sure you go down, so they don't. Now, possibly they drop the charges later. That's possible. I'm not gonna act like they may not drop the charges. They might, but then they might go through with it. You never know. But at the end of the day, you got to deal with all that. And you on your way to the hospital right now. And now how you gonna explain this when you get home? Okay, how you gonna explain that when you get home? You know, and there have been men where that has happened to it. They have literally died. You died because you decided you want to help some woman win a fight against her own man. You can't win that fight. I'm just keeping it real. You can't win that fight. I'm never going to be in a situation where I try to stop some man and woman or I intervene in their fight where I'm a part of it. The closer I come to it, you know, and I've said it before, y'all, that I saw a young man about to get into it with his girl, and I told dude, hey, man, chill out. The police is in the area for another thing. You know, don't you mess around and go upside her head and they see you. Because they're already around here trying to catch somebody else right now. Okay, I forget what the other person had done, but the police was right there circling the area because they was trying to catch somebody right then at that moment, and he getting into a heated argument with this girl. And I'm like, hey, bro, chill. The police, they looking for somebody right now. Don't go upside her head, and now you going to jail too. You know, y'all better wait till y'all get in the house or something. At least that. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not finna help no woman, fight her man. I ain't doing that. Call me when y'all not together. And I do think this is something a lot of men should start telling young women. Call me when y'all not together. See, I know the couple did it as a joke, but this is the thing. As a joke, she called her brothers to see. I'm assuming that was her brothers because I think they said the first guy was a brother. And I know the guy called somebody else, so I'm assuming that's another brother, but it could have been like a close friend or something who would be like a brother to him, obviously. They said, man, don't call them playing around like that. Call me when you want it over with or whatever. So this is the thing. As a man, I'm never gonna take a call from somebody who with somebody and go over there and do anything. I'm not doing that. Okay. I understand it could be somebody I love very much. But at the end of the day, women got to understand not to play with men either. So let's just say this, y'all. You got you a niece, like, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all got a daughter. The daughter gonna grow up, be a certain age, she gonna eventually start dealing with men, See, I got a niece, so I can say it from that. Some of y'all got some daughters. Some point she gonna start messing with some dudes. Now, what do you do if your daughter calls you? And I know this is a bigger issue for a father. What do you do when your daughter calls you and say her man hit her? As a father, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna click in your head. I'm about to go bust dude head wide open. Okay, I'm gonna bust your head wide open until we see the white meat. I understand men gonna have thoughts like that, or you might even go further than that. I'm about to go put dude down, hit my daughter. I totally understand that. Now the question is it the right thing to do? I got a niece who will eventually become old enough to mess with dudes. Okay? I'm thinking about my oldest niece right now. She's going to eventually mess with some dudes. Now, what if when she's 15, 16, 17, maybe it happens when she's 21, 22, 23, and she messed with some dude. And she called. She say, Uncle, dude done hit me. And she going to look at me to come protect her. Maybe her father out of town or something. What am I supposed to do with that? That's my niece, her father out of town. What am I supposed to do? Because my thing is, did you leave him? Is it over with? No, he just hit me. I mean, I'm sorry you got hit. I really am. I'm definitely sorry you got hit. All right. Shout out to NBA YoungBoy. He said call the cops. No, I'm not. I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that. Call the cops for what? See, you call the cops and you tell cops come get this nigga. You don't know how that's gonna go. And then the thing is, the cops might kill a young man. You know, when the cops hear it's a nigga doing something, some of them get real antsy. So am I gonna call the cops on some guy just because he upset and he hit my niece when my niece probably shouldn't have been with that guy in the first place? See, I'm gonna be realistic, y'all. My niece probably shouldn't have been with that guy in the first place. Okay. Probably even got warned about being with that guy. But at the end of the day, man, and I'm not saying, look, number one, I don't even believe in calling cops like that. Okay. If I'm gonna call the cops, it's gonna be for something serious. Wow, your niece getting hit ain't something serious. Look, man, is she out the relationship? I think that's an important detail. Is she in or out the relationship? Why call for help if she ain't leaving the man? What's it gonna do? She gonna be right there with him. Now, what, she gonna go pay his bond? Yeah. Is that healthy, y'all? She get to go pay his bond. So now they can continue to struggle with money or something. Is that really gonna do anything? How about he hit you, don't nobody do nothing, and you get, as a woman, you get in your head that when he's ready to hit you, you just hit. What would make a woman stop dealing with the guy who beating on her? The fact that people gonna come help her, or for her to think that it's just on her? Which one gonna help her move faster? Now this is the thing, y'all. When women get with a guy and you have an issue with the guy, you know, number one, did they even bring the guy around you for your approval? Did they even bring the guy around for your approval? Okay. A lot of sisters won't even bring a guy around to their family. Okay. Now, some of them will say, well, my dad ain't really in the picture, so that's why I ain't bringing him. Well, you got uncles. You got somebody who care about you. If you don't bring the guy around, then why should I really assist you when you, quote unquote, in trouble with the guy? You know, I've told my goddaughter to her face, you know, she had a guy that she was having issues with. I said, you didn't bring that guy around to me to get my approval on if he should be with you or not. So at the end of the day, I'll treat stuff differently, you know. Now, maybe she brought the dude around, when she first met him, got with him or whatever case, I probably would have handled things between them differently. Because she'll try to use me to get help and be on her side or whatever. No, we're going to break this down and see what the real problem is. But I'm not going to, quote unquote, just be on side just because I know you and I don't know him. I ain't doing that. And I told her, I said, you didn't bring this dude around me so you can get my approval. So as it is, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to just, quote unquote, jump on your side. No, I ain't doing that. I ain't ever doing that. All right. You lost a lot of credit with me just because you didn't bring dude around. So I'm going to treat you like you never brought dude around. And there's some stuff that I'm just not going to be on your side with it. If I don't think it's right, I don't think it's right. And if you have a problem with the guy, I don't care, because you decided this was going to be a guy in your life on your own. You didn't ask me nothing, and we're going to treat it As long as y'all deal with each other, we're going to treat it like you never brought him around. That's what we're going to do. But I'm going to slow down right now because my main man, No Placeholder, done decided to come up. So I'm going to go ahead and let him get the mic and see where he goes with this. No Placeholder, you got it, my brother.
Good morning, Roger.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to the chat. Yeah, so I'm in full agreement with you, Roger, regarding this scenario. I'm not endorse. As a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna say it that way. No claims or no caveat. I endorse give ass whoopings. I'm saying I'm not even gonna say that. And it's a matter of who's getting the ass whooping doesn't really matter, but I endorse it. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a mechanism of curtailing bad behavior. Um, and I mean we do it with children. You get what I'm saying? Because we understand that there has to be ramifications for misbehavior. And we invoke those ramifications in the way that we see fit as parents, because we want that behavior to get curtailed. You know what I'm saying? We don't want it to manifest. So this is the same concept of being in a relationship. Okay, so as a female, you're going to be in a relationship with a man, and we all have listened that the women they are fully aware of what the men are supposed to do. They're fully aware of what the men are supposed to bring to the table, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? But essentially what happens is that they want to live in the relationship carefree and without order and without any form of discipline. And so this is why, like I would agree with you, Roger. If I see a situation unfold between a man and a woman where he has to put his hands on her, I'm gonna assume as a man, being that I'm a decent man myself, that she had to have done something to make that man basically get to the point that he wants to, especially with the training that we have for the last 50 years of like keeping your hands on women. So if you see in my opinion, if you see a man hitting a woman, she probably did something pretty egregious to cause him to get to that point. Or she could be with a man that likes hitting. In that case, both cases, it's her fault. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I see it. And this works for my sisters as well too. You know what I'm saying? Because I got 5 of them, Roger. And I tell them all the time, don't put your hands on men because they will put their hands back on you. You know what I'm saying? And I also encourage them that basically, like I'm saying, the way to basically maintain longevity and everything is to basically have good behavior. But I'll end there, Roger, for now. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Good words, if you ask me. Very good words. All right, we have the Great Black Reset in the building as well, y'all. He done came up, so let's go ahead and give him the mic. You got it, brother.
Hey man, I'm gonna have to follow up behind No Placeholder. You know, I don't never agree with that dude. Man, uh, never in all the history of niggerdom have I ever seen a woman be attacked by a man for no reason, nor have I ever seen a woman be attacked by a man for agreeing with him. See, all you gotta do is be agreeable. That's it. But you know what? They have made They have made a sport out of rejection. They've made a sport out of being disagreeable. They've made a sport out of being annoying. You don't work that hard. It's time to cash that check, man. They ain't doing nothing but cashing the check. They don't run for themselves, man. I don't feel bad for none of them. I would have took the bat from homeboy and say, listen, man, don't beat her with the bat. And I looked at her and said, you need to apologize to the man. I don't know what happened. But I know you did something to irritate this dude. You need to apologize to that man. And I'd have gave that man his bat back on the way I could go. That's what I would have done. And then this is, I'm gonna land with this. When they retell these stories, they sound so sweet and so innocent. You really think she was talking like that to that man? Man, come on, get on up out of here, man. Listen, that man ain't attacked that woman for nothing. Matter of fact, he need to go back in there this week, man. That's what he need to do. That's what he need to do. Cause she ain't learned her lesson yet. She's still lying. I'm gonna land my plane.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. If he knew her, that's one thing. They didn't expose that they know each other at all. I just say dude got a mental health issue. And that's it. It's to me, it's not even nothing to blame. A crazy person is being crazy. No, you gotta help those people. And I don't see him as a bad person. He's just a person that need help to me. Now if she know the guy, which I'm not implying that she knows him, man, it is what it is. I'm not getting involved if they're a couple. And if your man went to got a bat to get you in check, all I'm gonna do is say, man, why did it take a bat for you to get the message? I'm definitely not getting into that. I ain't getting into it with a guy and a girl and he ain't got no weapon. Now he grab a weapon, I'm gonna get no, man. So now I gotta fight a guy with a bat now, so you'll be okay. So you'll learn to shut your mouth or quote unquote stay in your place or whatever women want to say about how men are mean and evil and all that. He got a bat and I gotta do all, man, I ain't doing none of that, man. Screw it. All right. I don't think they knew each other.
I wouldn't even rush dude from behind. I would have just walked up and he'd have probably looked up confused and I'd be like, listen, man, I ain't gonna say don't beat her. But don't do it with the bat. Let me hold the bat, man. Let me hold the bat. You get the bat back when you ain't upset no more.
But
and the whole time, shit, what's going on? You need to apologize. That's what's going on. Obviously, you pissed this man off.
Well, I'm gonna say if you went outside to get a bat, you should apologize. I don't care if you don't think you did anything wrong. Once a brother go get a bat, yeah, you do need to apologize. So I'm with you there. It wouldn't hurt to apologize at that moment. It sure wouldn't hurt to apologize. But I don't think they knew each other. I think dude was just off in the head. You know what I'm saying? That's all it really was. But we only got so much of the story. And I'm not gonna say they wouldn't quote unquote present stuff a certain way. But if they were together, I think they would have. It'd have been more to the story, and he probably would have got arrested if they were together. That's what I truly believe. He got arrested some kind of way because who gon' let the brother off the hook? And we got footage of him trying to attack this woman and all that. They ain't gonna let him off the hook. That's why I don't really think they know each other. I think dude was just off. Maybe he was a military guy, had an episode like a terrible what they call PTSD episode or something. I think something was just off with the brother, and he just needs some type of help. But I don't see him attacking a woman that he's with and not end up getting arrested at the end of that story. That's how I'm looking at it. But y'all never know how they cut stuff and how they do angles and all that. So you never really truly know. But I'm gonna put my money on he just went through an episode and just needed some help. But if you don't help men that need help and they go crazy, I mean, what you want at the end of the day. And I'm gonna say a lot of folks could take that more seriously. When you see men that need help them. Get them some. At least give them a phone number. You got all type of stuff on your phone to pull out information. So, offer the man some help if you see he needs some help at the end of the day. But I do hold strong that I was just talking to an older woman last night. I was telling her, and she didn't even fight with it. I said, if you with a man more than 6 months, it's automatically your fault. He's supposed to be your leader. If you don't like who that guy is, you're supposed to cut up out of it. If you don't leave the guy that you have to agree with, as and you just say, no woman ever got in trouble for being agreeable. Well, I mean, that's a very good point. So why are you trying to be with a man that you cannot agree with? The math on it don't even make sense to me. Women would try to say all this stuff about men. If you don't like who this guy is, why are you trying to be with this guy so bad? See, that never made sense to me either. So I ain't never really took a woman's side on this stuff. If you like a man that hits you, I respect it. Once some woman told me they got a saying that if you don't slug her, you don't love her. Man, you talking about the phrase that helped me just kind of move down the path on how we should look at it. And my thing is, since there are women who actually think in those terms, I got to accept it because we in America, people are free. They can do what they want to do. Who's with a man who's beating up on them that don't like a man that beat up on them? That's my question. Who's with a man that beats on her who does not like it? You know? And that's why I ask women, do you have a key? You know, and they look at me funny when people try to tell me these stories about how they was abused, and I be like, did you have a key? You know, what the heck is that supposed to mean? You had a key to the house, right? You had a key to the apartment, right? Yeah. So that means you literally unlock the door to get into the monster, and then you lock the door on the rest of us on the outside of the world. So you locked yourself in with this monster. You try to make me believe this dude a monster. You locked yourself in an area with the monster, and I'm supposed to believe you need help. Now I'm gonna tell y'all one thing, y'all. Grown as I am, I ain't never locked myself in a room with a monster. Not one time. Okay? I ain't never locked myself in a room with a person that I perceive as a monster. I doubt I lock myself in a building with a person that I perceive as a monster. I ain't gonna lock myself in no apartment with a person I perceive as a monster. If it's a monster, I'm scared, right? You know what I do if I'm scared? I leave. And y'all, I think this is something that black men really need to push on the black women. If you scared, why don't you just leave? Well, I can't leave. I got this, that, and that. And sometimes they even use kids. They'll say, I can't leave because I got kids. Ain't that more of a reason to leave? If I believe the stuff that you're telling me, don't you have a responsibility to protect the children from a monster? Because, you know, black women, they like having custody no matter what, right? So if your ideal is the children belong to you and you're supposed to have custody, why would you keep your kids in the area with the dangerous man? Like, does that make any kind of sense at all? You know? Shout out to Sirius Rock. He said Beauty and the Beast syndrome. I don't know if it's a syndrome. I don't know if it's a syndrome, but I do believe it's unhealthy. I'm gonna say that. Number one, I think it's unhealthy to want to lock yourself in a room with this monster that you're supposed to be terrified of. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Even lion trainers may go into a locked area with a lion, but they're lion trainers. They believe they're going to beat the lion at the end of the day. And they could be wrong, but they at least believe that they can keep that lion in check, or they wouldn't be lion trainers. You know? Now, I don't know why people decide to become lion trainers. I seriously doubt at any point in my life at this point, I'm going to start trying to figure out how to train the lion. I don't think that's going to happen. But the people in there with the quote unquote they believe they're going to beat that lion. They believe that lion will bow to their will at some particular point. So if you believe you can't get the man to bow to your will because he beats on you, the only real conclusion I can come to is you like getting beat up. You know? And I know that's offensive to it. Y'all, I didn't offend so many women by saying this to them. I just said, when you don't like getting beat on, you'll just get somebody else. Y'all, they try to tell me time and time again, it's not that we like getting beat on. That's not what it is. No, that's what it is. Because if he don't beat on you, you're going to go to a different man that will beat on you. It is what it is. You like it. You know?
I think these systems are out of control, man. I think that we've gone too many generations of most of them not having fathers in the household. Too many generations of them learning poor behaviors from their mothers, from the twerking to just everything, man. They're out here stealing. They're walking out on their tabs and all this other kind. It's just too much poor behavior that they've been inundated with. Bro, I just don't. I really don't think it's any hope for them, bro. I just don't. I just don't. I think it's a wrap. I think you got a good policy where, man, if you ain't married, you ain't married to a black man that I know. It ain't my business. I don't care what's happening to you. I'm more concerned about about the black man who's involved, who might go to jail, bro. They killing brothers for having weapons out here, bro. Just don't. Hey man, go on about your business. Be there at home.
Do it in the privacy of your own home.
I know she did. I know she did something. I just don't want to know her personally what she did. Just wait till she get home.
Say, be there in the privacy of your own home.
Be there in the privacy of your home. We're seeing too much evidence of these sisters bucking up against these grown men in public, man. These dudes are tired, man. These young dudes ain't having it with them.
Well, I will say this: if you have a thought process of you always have to be the victim, to me it makes sense that you will get with a man that will hit you from time to time, because you believe you can take the story of you being hit by him and present yourself as a victim. So when I say they like getting beat on, I mean that woman wants to have some kind of leverage where she can present to other people that she is a victim of some sort. And the fact that she can say he hit me is her way of being a victim. They into that stuff, y'all. I do believe very much well they're into it. Now I'm gonna say shout out to Positive Vibes or Lena down there. She say you could be legit trapped. Now I'm gonna ask this, Lena. Now maybe if you talking about a different country, maybe with the rules they got over there, a woman can legit be trapped. How can any woman in America be trapped? Because you say she could be legit trapped. How could a woman who lives in the United States of America ever be trapped by a man? Men lose women daily that they don't want to lose. Now, I'm not saying they should want to keep them, but men lose women daily that they don't want to lose. How can a woman be quote unquote legit trapped? And I'm not saying you trolling or anything like that. You're a female, so you're gonna look at things from a female lens from time to time, if not all the time. How can a woman in the United States of America be trapped? What's
Roger, that's an excuse, Roger. That's an excuse to basically claim that they're children. No, they're fully aware of their environment and they're fully aware of what's going on. And if they basically were in a position where they had to basically control themselves and apply some discipline, they wouldn't be finding themselves in a scenario. That whole comment about being trapped is bullcrap. You know what I'm saying? They're fully aware of what's going on. There is no trapping. So just what's happened is that they act a certain way, and when the ramifications come to meet those bad behavior, they want to come up with excuses like, oh, stuff like no. You know what I'm saying? When you're at work and you understand what will get you fired, you avoid that, don't you? You know what I'm saying? When you're on work and you understand what will get you demoted, you avoid that, don't you? Okay, when you're in a relationship, avoid shit that will get your ass whooped. Okay? Very simple.
You know what? That's good reasoning, brother. That's some highly good reasoning right there. And I'm just gonna say, brother, I don't understand how a woman can be quote unquote trapped. That's why I asked her. Not that I believe her, I will ask her because I just want to hear what the answer would be. And honestly, I think women just say certain things and they don't actually think about it. It sounds good, because I say all the time, women, they care about their image more than anything else. I think that was a protect woman's image response without the thought process of what it really means. That's why I'm asking her. And I wish you tell me, how does a woman in this country become trapped? What way would she go about doing this? I'm not saying it ain't possible. I just need you to give me an idea of how that would actually play out, like how that would work. Because unless you're willing to, if you're gonna keep a woman in the basement for years, cool. I understand. But if a man ain't physically willing to keep you locked up, if he ain't locking you to the table, he ain't locking you to the radiator or something, how does he trap her? And this is why I always ask women who claim that they couldn't leave, had nowhere else to go. That's why I always ask them, do they have a key? Because as soon as you admit you got a key, how you gonna say you was trapped? I don't get it. But I'm gonna go ahead and get a mic to slap a whole tribe and let him get his opening statement in. Go ahead, my brother. I barely heard you, brother. I barely heard you.
Happy Tuesday, Roger. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, brother.
The first thing that I'd like to say, dang, what the shit with this man? And would I have been if I seen one of them getting the bricks beaten off her? No, that's not my problem. Because when he was giving her money, I didn't know. When he was buying her a car, I didn't know. When he was buying her a nice gift, I didn't know. When he was giving her good deed, I didn't know about it. So when it's time for him, what?
Is he breaking up to me or y'all too?
I can't hear him either.
Y'all can hear me?
Not really. I just heard you clearly when you just said, "Can y'all hear me?" So if you just moved to something, you better stay where you at. Stay where you at.
Let me drop down. I'll come back.
Okay. All right. Well, good God Almighty, Lena done joined us, y'all. Lena done joined us. All right. Lena, how you doing, sister? How you doing? You got the floor. Go ahead, make your opening statement. Let's see what you got going on here.
Good morning. Women can become, and not just women, men too. They both experience violence if the right situations and things present itself. I'm gonna tell you how my grandmother was a survivor of violence. And you say people deserve it. That's not true. My grandfather used to come home drunk, and that's when he jumped on her. He would be drunk, he'd be paranoid, and then she's cheating. She's like, I'm sitting home with some babies. Like, where am I cheating? Who's in here? And then somebody told her and put her hip. And she's like, bros, you're a fool. You don't think that he's cheating? He's sitting up here accusing you. He out all night. He drunk coming. And when she was just scared because she knew she was going to get beat. So one night, it took her 8 years. One night, she got home. She's like, I ain't taking this butt whooping no more. So she got home. She prepared because he was going out. She put a frying pan underneath the blanket. She knew he was coming in. Sure enough, he started hitting her. She took that frying pan, cold cocked him, and she got scared. She's like, oh my God, he gonna come through and kill me. So she got her stuff together and she had to escape. She went from St. Louis all the way to Chicago. She said she came here with 2 pair of panties, 2 skirts, and 2 kids. And nobody. She had to contact people from her college because she was scared. She was scared for him to know where she was at. She's scared he was going to kill her. My aunt did the same thing. Now, that was in the 50s. My great aunt, she couldn't escape really. This was in the early 2000s. She left her man, went home with her mom, and she was like in her 60s. And she would walk to her car and he would run up and beg her to come back. She was scared. She was scared he was going to run up one day and stab her. That's why she went back. The only thing that saved her with my great uncles, he ended up getting cancer. As soon as she came back, he got diagnosed with cancer and he was dying. But she used to get beat all the time. He was high. He did crack and cocaine. And so it does happen. Some women are trapped. It's not like she liked it. She wasn't doing anything. He was high, substance abuse. She could not escape. She was scared he was going to kill her. He was looking for her. She couldn't go anywhere. She was hiding. He
Okay.
knows her family and stuff.
That's your grandma's story, our grandaunt Nina. So that's
hold on,
not
no placeholder. Before you say anything about it, I just want to hear if y'all heard what I heard.
I
Did
heard that
any
she married a drug dealer, drug addict.
no, hold on. Before y'all interpret
Mr. Attorney.
anything, I want to hear if y'all heard the same thing I heard as far as this. Did
I heard
anyone hear where the woman was actually trapped?
No, and more importantly than that, I didn't even hear the full. I didn't hear the full complexity of the story. All I heard was somebody come up here and basically give us something that sounded like something they watch on Lifetime or something they watch on fucking like I'm saying TV. That's what I heard. Because the
Yeah.
whole idea is that it's always the same thing: innocent women that basically that never did nothing wrong, and random men that basically are out of control. This is such a ridiculous narrative, bro. I've never encountered this, bro.
That's
You know what I'm
not a
saying, Roger?
ridiculous narrative. It was based
I've
upon
never
drugs.
encountered this. I have a
You
big
haven't seen
family. I have
bar
a whole
fights?
bunch of dude. Can I talk, man? I have a whole bunch of people on my side of the family. And like when I went to my grandfather's funeral in Jamaica, he had 55 grandchildren. You get what I'm saying? We have a huge family. This idea of basically random men just beating women for no reason. Now I've seen bitches get their ass whooped before. Don't get me wrong, but it's never unjustified. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say.
All right, well, let me see if I can help a little bit. Lena, you said with the first woman, you said that basically she took a skillet upside through head, cold cocked him, he out of it because he be coming home drunk, and then she left. Is that what you
Mm.
said for the most
After
part?
as soon as he put his hands on, she knew it was
Okay,
coming. He came,
okay,
he
hold
jumped
on.
on her.
Okay, but she cold cocked him with the skillet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he be drunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
What stopped her from doing that 8 years earlier?
I've never asked her. She never even told me. I've only overheard. She would not tell me about that's my biological
No,
grandfather.
no.
She
This,
never
this,
told me.
this is the
I never
thing.
asked
No,
her.
Lena, use your own common sense. She cold cocked him based on the story that you say she told you. Based on this story,
Over
she
eavesdropping
cold
here.
cocked him with a skillet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the difference maker. He come home drunk, so she knew she could get him with the skillet and he'd be out of there. And then she left. Now, if she did that, how come she didn't do it 8 years previous to that? What changed? Was there another guy in the house?
No,
What
she was just tired of getting beat
she
on.
no, hold on. Before you go into a story, I'm trying to get you to think for yourself. Because
Mm-hmm.
you just heard what your grandma said and you just took it like it's supposed to mean everything in the world. Did the house change that they was living in that 8 years? Did
No,
the cars change? Was it a different set of people that lived in the house? Like what actually changed over that 8 years that now all of a sudden she could use that skillet in a way that she did that night, but she couldn't use it 8 years previous to that?
the only thing I can think of is she got tired of getting beat on, and she didn't love him the same
No,
anymore after being
so
beat on.
so basically nothing changed. So she was never trapped in the first place. Can you accept that?
I could see why you say that.
Can you accept it though?
I could, in a way.
If nothing changed, how was she trapped?
I could see that.
No, there were no new conditions based on what you know. Literally
Okay.
no new conditions. So what she did on the night that she supposedly took this frying pan and cold cocked him with it, supposedly, if we even believe her story, yeah, and I know you will because you're the granddaughter. So I get you're gonna accept that story. Now, if I accept that story, I got to understand why she didn't do it 8 years previous to that,
Mm-hmm.
since
I
nothing changed.
I know my grandfather beat on women though. That is a common
No.
thing.
I'm not gonna say your grandmother didn't beat on women. I just know your grandmama
Okay.
liked it. That's what I also know. Your grandma loved it. She loved getting beat on. If she didn't love getting beat on, she wouldn't have got beat on for 8 years. You got to love getting beat on to let it go 8 years. I mean, we got to be realistic about this. So yeah, if your grandfather was a terrible dude that loved to beat on women, what woman did he get? A woman who liked to get beat on. Because you got to be compatible as a couple.
Okay, then how do you explain my aunt? She really did leave, and she tried.
How long was she with that guy?
Oh God, to the day he died.
No. How long? I don't know what that means. What's the time period?
I would say 1963 to what is that? He died 2000 and
Sound like you about to go decades. Yeah. So she was with him for decades, which means she loved it more than your grandma did.
oh no,
Hold
she
on,
tried it.
Roger. What did what did you say about your second aunt? Did you not say that the man came to the car and begged her to stay? No,
Yeah,
but what
she
I
was
heard you say.
scared. Yeah, she was scared he was gonna run up and stab her though.
Yeah,
Too
no.
much.
See,
Okay,
this is the thing.
Roger, I'm
What
like, where did I come? Go ahead.
No,
Actually, where did that come from?
it's a
Like,
narrative because she said herself
yeah,
that she was scared what he was gonna do. She never said that he did anything. She just said
No,
what she was scared he was gonna do. So it's just a narrative. Now she been with the guy for decades because you said what'd you say 1960 something? Did you say 60 something or 80 something?
60s.
1960 something, and I'm like, okay, so it went on decades. And you were saying 2000. I didn't hear you say the rest, but you
Yeah,
said
to
somebody who been
2000.
somebody in the 60s, and they was together to the 2000s. So we talking about 4 decades. She loved that nigga.
Hmm.
She loved getting beat on him. If you want to believe
well,
she was getting beat on, that means she loved it. She loved it so
hold
much
on.
she did it for decades.
Where you have not mentioned Lena if the man actually hit her. You said that all I heard was that she was at the car ready to leave and he came and back to the state. So did he ever actually hit her?
No, not from the car. No, not when.
No, no, not for the car. Like Lena, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
You
understand what
gave
you're
us an
saying.
analogy saying that your aunt was about to leave and the man came to back at the state. So
No,
I'm saying
she
that was
left.
what you told her because
She
okay,
was living with her mom. She escaped, and he found her, and
no,
he was sitting out. She was so creeped out. He would be
Well,
sitting out there sleeping in his car, waiting for her to come out
well,
I understand. But
every day.
what led her to go to her mother? Did he hit her prior to that?
Oh yeah, he was beating her. Yeah,
what
he'd get high and beat her.
this is what the thing
No,
is.
well,
Like I
okay,
told her.
she's conflating two stories, not Roger. Talk
No,
about
no,
like
no, no. I know what it is. Lena is worried about what she believes and not what actually happened.
I'm
She
just going by
see
what was told.
when you listen to how people tell a story, you can see where their focus is. Lena ain't explain to us what happened. She's talking to us really about emotions. So Lena done bought into what she wanted to believe, but she's not telling us a story of what actually happened. So what Lena believes is far more important than the actual facts.
Oh no, I'm just saying what she told me. I'm saying what she
No,
told
no, I
me.
get it, but it's the way you expressed it and the way you gave us no details about anything, so we can coherently follow the
Oh,
quote unquote story that you're supposed to be telling us. That's supposedly gonna make any level of sense. You didn't tell us anything that fits together to have a good idea of what happened at all. You just telling us about a bunch of emotions. So
I'm sorry.
you don't care about the facts. You just care about how we're going to perceive a story.
It's not so much perceive. When the emotion I have is fear, and I understand it because when she was telling me when it was happening, she was scared, and she was
You,
like,
you didn't give us nothing to be afraid of in that story. You
she was
literally said
scared that he was
what
gonna
she
run up
thought
and
was going to
stab
happen.
her.
No, no, you said what she thought was going to happen, which means it never actually happened.
No, it did
You
not.
gave us
You're right.
nothing to be afraid of.
He did not run up and stab her. That is true. But she was scared he was gonna do it, and
You
on
gave us
top
no
of it,
basis for this. You gave us you didn't tell us anything he ever did where she could even come to the conclusion that he was stabbed.
because prior beatings, he
You
used to, and
never
I
gave it. You didn't give it to us.
he used to be. He would get
No, no, no,
high,
no. You don't have to explain it right now. I'm just trying to show you how you never gave us anything where we
and
could
I
even
was like, y'all.
understand why he would. Well,
I was
hold
like,
on,
y'all.
hold on, because I got other people that got to get in. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is you never gave us anything where we can come to any conclusion on our own that this man was a threat whatsoever. You never told us anything to make him a threat. You just said, well, I thought she was going, well, she thought he was stab her. And you didn't give us anything to go off that.
Well, I said he used to beat her though.
You didn't even really say that. You
I said
moved.
he used to beat her because
No,
he
no,
used to
you
get
didn't
high.
tell us. You didn't tell us that though. You went from what changing the story about one woman to a second woman, and the second woman you literally didn't tell us he did anything to her. You
Oh, I
literally
thought
didn't
I
tell
told
us
you he got
anything.
high and he would beat her. He would get high and beat her. That's what. And
Well,
then
maybe you
somebody,
said that. I don't even remember you saying that the first time. I don't even remember you saying that when I asked you a question.
and a lot of people think that people marry drug addicts and stuff. He wasn't a drug addict when
Look, look,
they
look.
got
If they
married.
like doing drugs together, that's their business. You
And
know, for a
do you
woman
know? Do you know
to be
when?
no, hold on. I got two other guys that need to get in,
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
but women do like drug addicts. We know that because they need somebody to get high with. Now the thing is, can you accept that women like drug addicts because they want somebody to get high with?
Oh yeah, my aunt ain't no drug addict.
You say that it's
Oh
very
no.
funny that a married couple would only have one drug addict in it. That's a very funny situation. But let me get these other guys in. Bad Black Gamer, go ahead, get your opening statement in, and let's get Inspired Truth right behind you.
Hey, good morning. Salutes to the chat and salutes to you, Roger. Hopefully, I sound okay. Um,
You wasn't gonna ask, huh? You wasn't gonna ask.
but I think it's interesting how like every time we have these conversations, and women come up and talk about something, they always come up with some type of story about their grandma or somebody they that they know or their friend or something like that that experienced some type of DA DV or whatever. And I'm like, why don't you come up and talk about your own anecdotal story? Like, did a man hit you? Have you been abused? Like, why we gotta come up here and talk about stuff we don't really know nothing about like grandma and all this type of stuff? Like, cause I've never, it's funny that I run into women that say that their grandma did this and went through this with their granddad. My grandma, I don't have stories about my grandma going to anything with my granddad like that. You know what I'm saying? Or my mom. You know what I'm saying? It's always, I find that weird. They don't have nothing anecdotal, but they have something. But it's always something about not something about their experience, but something about something about somebody else's experience. And that right there makes me like that whole saying about believe women. I don't believe women anymore. I believe they got a narrative they want to tell, they got a story they want to spin, or like you said, Roger, they trying to share their emotions and they want us to feel some way about it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't believe women. I think most of these DVs stories are made up. You know what I'm saying? Like I've dated women, and every time you date a woman, they never talk good about their ex. And if you ask them about their ex, sometimes they'll say their ex was abusive. And then you ask them how were their ex abusive, and they'll say, well, they verbal abusive. Like they can't really ever tell you how they were really truly abusive. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out there. But if I can, right quick, I want to share one quick little anecdotal story of my experience with this. I remember back going to a Capitol party with my girl back in the day, and there was
really
a guy
trying to stretch
outside.
these 2 minutes. I just gotta say real quick, you really trying to stretch these 2 minutes out, ain't you?
Yeah, I try to get to it. I don't usually use my 2 minutes all the way up. You know how I am. I'm just quick about it. But just right quick. So I saw a girl.
Roll over, man.
Hey, look. I saw a girl that was 5'4" take the shoes on her feet off, and peg a dude that was like 6'3" and about 280 pounds in the back of the head. Now the dilemma was I did run over there to try to get involved in that, and I felt some kind of way about it because I did see that girl take her heel off her shoe and peg that dude in the head back of his head. And the other part of them, I didn't want to because I was probably about 6'2" and 175 at that time, and that dude again was like 6'4", like 280, probably 280 at least. You know what I'm saying? So I really didn't want to jump in the middle of that. And as soon as I did, and I was trying to hold the brother back, keep him from hitting her. Guess who got pegged in the back of their head with their heel, trying to protect, trying to pull him away. I got hit in the back of the head for getting in the middle of that. But the only reason I did that was because I knew the campus police was like literally like 2 blocks down the street, and if that dude let loose on her, he was probably going to jail and he was probably going to do some real damage. But I'll land my plane right there.
All right, Inspired Truth, you got the flow, brother.
All right. Peace to you all on the panel. Peace to the chat. I hope y'all all having a terrific Tuesday. I got 2 issues here that I got to drop and bring to the floor. Like I'm gonna be kind of nice to Lena, I guess, and kind of give her a little bit of grace. And so I'm gonna do that thing first, and then I'm gonna circle back on my main point. So the first thing is like, yeah, anybody can feel trapped. Like a woman can feel trapped, a man can feel trapped. And that could be like a legitimate thing about, oh, what's he gonna do with the kids? And it could be like, what's she gonna do with the kids? What's she gonna do with the job? Like, is she gonna go and then crash out and mess up things that work for me? And so now I gotta stay. Like, there's all kinds of situations where people can feel trapped. So I can give a little bit of grace to you on that. On the other hand, I can tell you like firsthand on this whole like grandparents thing. Like I have like a granddad, or had a granddad, and I had a step granddad. And there's a very different story that you'll get from like one side of the family that you'll get from another side of the family. Like you have the kids that were like actually there seeing the thing play out. Like, okay, so with our actual, granddad, is like, okay, so you were actually doing mutual combat with him. You were starting the fights, and so you had a mutual combat situation. And then later on, you end up with this other dude that really is beating your ass. But because you appreciate that, it's like everything is all good. So then the cousins end up with this perspective of, oh yeah, we ran this other dude off because he was like violent and stuff. And then she got this new man, and then everything was roses and sunshine and rainbows. Hell to the no. It was the exact opposite. But then you'll have this difference between like what you'll get as in a narrative perspective, depending on which side of the family you're listening to. And that's why I kind of laying down there.
I'm gonna say, well said, both of you brothers. Now I'm gonna throw something else out here, not to be offensive, but just to be realistic. Lena grandma was just lying. That's all. Lena grandma is a woman. They care about their image more than anything else. So Lena grandma had to come up with a story about why she left this guy, and she got a great story because she threw in the emotional stuff. Y'all see how Lena just said grandma left with 2 skirts, 2 pairs of panties, and 2 kids. Think about that from an emotional pull situation. That's a woman telling a story where she's trying to get an emotional connection or get people to be on her side. Because I need to make the story so outrageous they just side with me without thinking about anything from a factual standpoint. And I'm not saying Lena is lying. I'm saying Lena grandma lied to her, but Lena gonna believe it because that's her grandma.
But
Who
not
ain't gonna
only
believe their
that,
grandma?
that's true, Raj. I can see where you're coming from. But he's beaten other women. He's been married a few times after
How
my
would she
grandmother.
know? How? I mean, you talking
One
about
of
your.
his
Hold on, hold
one.
on, hold on. You
Okay.
talking about a time frame? What? No social media. How, how
Mhm.
how are you keeping up with your exes? How do you even understand what is going on in your ex's life?
This how I know. Other family members, they could be lying too. But then the last wife, she told me directly. She left my
Well,
grandfather. He was
hold,
sick.
hold, hold, hold fast. This man got married to another woman, and that woman talked to you.
Yeah, she told me to my
No,
face because he was sick.
hold fast. Why would a woman he was married to? Okay, this because you said your grandma. So this your grandfather you're talking about?
My grandfather's the new wife. She left him. She's like, I couldn't handle him anymore. I'm old and he keeps jumping on me because he
So
was.
granddaddy got married again.
Yeah, he been married three
Granddaddy so
times.
so so granddaddy smooth with it. He's so good, but then everybody coming to so now they coming directly to Lena, grandma, the person who's now. I mean, she would be quote unquote a step grandmother to you, but grandma is now talking to Lena about her personal relationship with your grandfather.
The new wife, yeah, she told me directly.
Does this
And
even make any sense to anybody? I just
yes,
want to know,
because it
does
looked
this make
bad.
sense to
Because
anybody?
people was mad at her, like, why would
Dude, the
you leave
story
him
gets
at
worse every
old
time she
age?
tell it.
No, that's not true. Because it looked bad. You an old woman and then you leave somebody in the old age. And we was wondering, like, why would you leave him? And he old and it looked bad. And so she was explaining herself like, he kept jumping on me and beating me. Juanita told me to
That's the
my
same thing
face.
Roger just said. You just explained what Roger just said. Trying to save their image. But they make decisions that self-serve,
Mhm.
self-serving to them, and they save their image by basically throw the men under the bus.
Layla,
Okay?
have you ever thought about why would the lady even tell you what's going on between her and your grandfather? Why would she even tell you that?
I guess she felt embarrassed. She left him. But she did. She said it. But everybody keeps saying the same thing. He beats me. They aren't didn't get together and collaborated.
I just seen a woman say she getting beat by a man. He was just recording on the phone call. She called the police and said he beating on her. I just thought that yesterday. What that mean?
So all three of them say the same person beat them.
Women always claim somebody beating on them. What else do y'all claim?
He was beating on them. My grandfather even acknowledged he had a problem.
When did a woman not claim somebody was beating on? That's a harder one to figure out. If you
Well,
start finding women who somehow left a guy, but she won't claim that he didn't beat on her or threaten her with a gun or something like that. Because now the threats is even beyond he was beating on me. Now it's, he pulled a gun out on me. You know, women say this every day. Have you not noticed that?
True.
How many of y'all supposed to say it before we stop believing it?
Any of y'all got any disfigured grandmothers? Anybody?
My grandmother's last husband was a saint, kind of. He wasn't. He was a saint to her.
No.
Yeah.
He said, "Does anybody have any disfigured grandmas?" And I think that was a fantastic question. Great
Oh,
Black
this
Reset.
weird.
I think you a genius for even coming up. That was a genius question, brother. But let me hold fast because let me get these other two guys ain't said nothing yet. So let's get the mic real quick to to Dirty Cat, and then let's let Nick's 2026 follow up behind him. Go ahead, Dirty Cat.
No, I'll let the Knicks get it. They got it. It's their world right now.
Okay. Championship Knicks 2026. What say you, my brother? What say you?
Hey, what's up, fellas? I'm gonna just get right into it, and I'm glad you guys picked that up. The fact that that lady told Lena all of that business that she ain't even need to be telling her shows that she was trying to save face. They will try to get to everybody before you can get your story out. You dig it? That's why I don't even listen to women. And when they telling me a story, don't matter if it's about a man or a woman or a child. If I can't ask the other person what happened, I don't believe the story. Period. And perfect time, not perfect timing, but inspired truth for saying something that's real valid. They always fighting. And I think, when people talk about, like the lesbian couples, the female lesbian couples, domestic violence rate is higher than anybody else. I don't think everybody's being truthful. I think it's black lesbian couples. I don't see white lesbian couples fighting. I don't see Chinese lesbian couples fighting. I don't see the Indian lesbian couples fighting. It's always the black chicks. And that should show you something in itself. You know what I mean? And then Roger said something as far as women is always victims. No, nigga, black people period is always victims. Y'all asses is always getting hit first. Ain't never did no hitting or nothing. So we just gotta stop giving that on women. I can't. I love the women get on my nerves, but I just can't keep letting everybody just throw that narrative like black women are always victims and black women can't take accountability. It's just a black people thing. And I'm gonna stand on that stone. But definitely, you gotta watch these women because they fight with each other, so they're gonna try to fight with you because they don't expect you to hit their ass back. But homeboy came in there with that bat and let her know something. He said, "My name is Joe Clark. I'm the head of the show."
All right, Dirty Cat, you got it, brother.
Salute to you, Roger. Salute to the gentleman on the panel. Shout out to the chat. Lena, you know what, man? I believe you, but I'm a little hot right now, so I don't know, but I'm a little hot, but I believe you. And shout out to Truth Inspired. I hung out with that nigga this weekend. I have never been so high in my life. And the strip this nigga had, oh my God, I definitely got like 12 different STDs, but it was worth it. So if y'all ever have a chance to chill with Inspired Truth, you should do it because he sounds like an academic, but that dude is a straight gangster dope fiend. Anyway, let's move it on. Believe all women if you can, because at the end of the day, they still are women. They're queens, and this poor woman was just at the laundromat, just washing her clothes, and this random ass dude, just Johnny come lately, came out here with a bat. That was ridiculous. And shout out to the brother who was like, he has the heart for both of them. Don't want to see anything. That is community. That's what we should be striving for. And I mean, look at this lady, right? Come on. She wouldn't hurt a fly. Believe all women, y'all. And I'll leave it there.
I don't think you be all the way honest right now. I think you playing game. This is my assessment. Okay, that's my assessment. Now I'm gonna say the woman at the laundromat. To me, yeah, this is just a random situation, just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. This type of story, I believe, far more than a woman telling me she was with a guy for X amount of years, and then she was just taking beatings. This story is far more believable to me. Okay, far more believable, because if she act like a person who didn't want to be there, you know. At the end of the day, she really didn't get beat on because she tried to move out the way. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? If you watch the little video, she was definitely not trying to be hit by the bat. You know, so I believe her way more. And I believe that the random guy just had an episode. You know what I'm saying? You know, could have been PTSD or something else. I think dude just had an episode. And sometimes there's people who need like medicine or something. You know, they say like even well, I ain't saying just old people, but what is the bipolar people? You know, they got to take their medicine. If they don't get their medicine, they start acting irrational and stuff again. So I think that probably just a guy who just didn't have his meds or whatever. Probably was in the military or something. Probably a very good guy. He just probably wasn't properly medicated. You know what I'm saying, at that particular time, or hadn't been through counseling yet. Maybe he was just in the process of getting some counseling, but ain't been through it yet. Because he don't. They don't give us a really good look at him, but I just got a feeling he ain't no older guy the way he was kind of moving. You know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like he was an older guy. It seemed like he was kind of young. That being the case, that's a much more believable story that, because it's new. It would be different to see a black man at random just attack somebody, you know? And women are a soft target, so it makes sense to me. You know, if you're going to attack somebody, you attack somebody that you don't think going to put up much of a fight. So that's why she got picked out. You know, it was guys at the place, but he didn't go after them because women are just considered soft targets. Women and children are considered soft targets. So that makes sense to me. But Lena, I hope you come back up because I don't want to come off as like I'm trying to beat up on you. I believe you, Lena. I do believe these people gave you a story. The question is, have you thought about the story that they gave? You know. And I understand if grandma tell you something, most likely you're not going to question it. Who going to really question their grandma's story? You might do that decades down the road, but when they first tell it to you, you ain't going to question what your grandma said. Even though your grandma said that, you know, she took a skill up to his head, you know, because I knew he was going to come home drunk. Well, you knew that the whole 8 years. You know?
Wait a minute, Roger. Wait a minute. We in all of human history have always been the same. Conflict rises from disagreement. Wars start from disagreement and everything. Look at the Iran, the war in Iran. It's because countries are disagreeing. You know, when they stop shooting, you know what happens? A peace treaty. They come to an agreement. See, women ain't never really understood that and took that lesson. All you got to do is be agreeable. When two men get in a fight, you know why? We're having a disagreement that got heated. All you got to do as a woman is stop disagreeing with men. That's it. You ain't got to go to counseling or nothing.
Well, I do have to agree with you, my brother. This stuff is starting from a lot of disagreements. And my question is, why are you with the man that you disagree with so much? See, my thing is there's a responsibility there that we as black men don't really put on the women. Why are you with somebody that you disagree highly with? Because if you tell me it comes to blows, that means y'all disagree highly. It's not a small disagreement. This is a big deal to y'all. You know, and it could be anything because you never know what's a big deal to a particular person. People got different types of pet peeves or whatever. I'm not telling you what should be big or should be small, but if y'all disagree at that level that it becomes physical, why y'all together? A person who tell me a story, yeah, I was having a problem with a man, and since he came home drunk every day, I knew I was gonna get him with this skit. Do y'all understand how dumb this sound to me? Now, this is no disrespect to Lena. I'm just being realistic. This sounds complete stupid to me. So you could have always left, but you wait 8 years and took X amount of beatings before. Now he come home drunk regularly. Okay, I'm not gonna even say every single day, but if he come home drunk at least 4 times a week, you could have been did this. But you waited till you had the kids first.
They want you to believe that this man never got drunk before they got in the situation before they could leave. He never got drunk before we had kids. He never got drunk before we got married. He got drunk after the fact. Let's just say we believe him. Damn, you don't drove this man to being a drunk.
That's the reason I married him, because he never took a drink of liquor. That's why I married him.
Now, why he started drinking after he got with you? What you doing?
She made him start drinking. She made him start drinking. He wasn't an alcoholic till you got with her.
On top
She
of
said,
that,
she said, the other guy, he wasn't doing drugs when they first got together. But what she was doing made this man think he needed some drugs. What's going on there?
I mean, that's a coincidence.
and then on top of that, it's like, okay, not only do you leave this guy, you hit this guy, and then you leave this guy. You're terrified of this guy, but you hit the guy, and then you leave. Like there's something missing there with this whole hit the guy, and then you leave.
I ain't never seen a black woman be scared of a black man. I've never seen that in my life. No matter if you like 5'2", 5'4", 5'5", and I mean she's 5'4", and you like 7 foot tall or 6 foot 5. I've never seen a black woman not be afraid to fight a black man.
And we just use Selena as an avatar because all women tell these stories about their grandma.
It's not really even we use Lena. We just using the story that they told Lena, because Lena didn't even do nothing. She just believed her grandma. I understand why you would believe your grandma. Yeah.
Now, here's another thing. Here's another thing we missed. Grandpa number 2, he was known for beating on women by the community. Well, why these women keep marrying this dude?
3 times, baby.
Because he's that dude. He's that dude.
You see what I'm saying? She said the family knew that he beat on women, and she said that he admit he got a problem with beating on women, right? So the community knows this dude like to beat on his wives. Why do women keep marrying this dude?
That's like them telling that he's good in bed. Like that's a turn on. Like that they like, oh, he beats women. Oh, I gotta get with this dude.
Well, I'm just saying. I thought when it came out that you beat women, people supposed to kind of go in the other direction. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You know, if it spill out that you beat women gonna be afraid. You know, they not gonna mess with you. But I guess you can mess with them to the point you get married. Well, I'm saying if you do it to the point where you can get married 2 more times, because let's keep it real. One of the worst things people were known for was they quote unquote beat their wife, and then they got divorced, and that was everybody saying, yeah, we're not gonna tolerate this. We're going in a different direction. The man's supposed to be shamed because he beating on a woman and all this type of stuff. But then the women married the same guy 2 more different occasions. I mean, that's amazing when you think about it.
I mean, Roger, they're kind of like drug dealers. They always got women. Those dudes that do that, they say do that, always got women. They never like, you know, don't have an abundance of women.
What? Well, my thing is, it's if you even believe it or not. Because number one, I'm gonna say her granddaddy ain't beat on women. If he beat on women, how he get married 2 more times? If he actually beat on women, because now somebody got to be around him enough to love him and want to be married to him. How many whoopings do you got to take to marry a woman? Think about it. Would you, if your woman beat you 8 times, are you gonna marry her?
Hey, Roger, ask yourself this question: how many women have broken up with you that you didn't beat on? Like everybody asks himself that question. Like these women are the most loyal women in the world.
Well,
mean,
No,
they
I
just
just
they
think we need
definitely not
we
loyal.
need some pictures of these disfigured grandmothers. That's what we need.
I'm with you, Great Black Reset. I need some level of proof that the story that they told y'all have any level of truth in it. Just give me any level of truth. Show me something. Because everybody got some, what I'm saying? They got pictures of their grandma, and grandma be fine. You know what I'm saying? She be like, okay. You know what I'm saying? She don't seem to have no she don't seem to have no broken hip from when dude kicked her down the stairs. You know what I'm saying? We don't see that type of stuff. You know, ain't nobody ever said I got to go get my grandma some medicine. Because granddaddy knocked her out and put out 3 of her teeth back in the day. You don't even hear this stuff. So where is it coming from? But I am gonna say this is part of why I believe black women should be the least protected. You always got a story about how men did something to you, yet there's never even any proof that men did something to you. So shouldn't you be a very, as far as protection is concerned, shouldn't you be protected less than everybody else? You're unmarried more than everybody else. Plus, you got all these stories about these guys, quote unquote, doing stuff in your family. So this is the thing, y'all. And Lena, I want to know this because you said it was your auntie that was getting beat on, and you said your grandma that was getting beat on. Okay. Now, was your auntie getting beat on by this granddaddy's son? Because you said your auntie. So is this your granddaddy's son that was beating on her? I want to know that. Or was this another man that's totally unconnected to your grandfather that would beat on your auntie the same way your mom was getting beat on?
Yeah, every man in our family was a woman beater.
Well, I just want to know which was the auntie or the uncle related to this man. I just want to know that. Was the auntie or the uncle related to grandpa, who was, he I guess he like drop dead gorgeous women. Because he dropping all of them. You gorgeous enough to drop. Pow! I do think, y'all, we just need to start really, and even for the women, since Lena came up, we need to start thinking about the stories that people are telling us. Your grandma hit a guy with a skillet, and that was the only way she got out, huh? And see, this is my thing. Grandma got away, right? That's what she said, y'all. Grandma got away. So if grandma got away from granddad, how do you know granddad's third wife? Did anybody else kind of catch that? Grandma hit granddad with a skillet, right? Cold cocked him because he be drunk. So we get the easy knockout because he already be drunk. Grandma escapes granddad. She got the 2 dresses, the 2 pair of panties, and the 2 kids. What a fantastic story. Cool. Now I'm gonna believe you. Okay, I accept what grandma said. She escaped granddad. So how does granddaughter know granddad that grandma escaped from?
Well,
How does granddaughter even come into contact with this guy?
I believe she knows grandma number 3. Because that would make sense that she would be in the lineage of grandma number 3. How you know grandma number 2? And how you know what happened to grandma number 2? And who told you the story about grandma number 2? Now, if you related to grandma number 2, why grandma number 3 talking to you? She ain't even related to you.
But
Man, come on.
how could she not be talking about grandma number 1? How could she not? Because grandma number 1 escaped.
She ain't related to grandma number 1. How she get the story about grandma number 1?
Something ain't adding up in this. That's all.
I'm just saying. All these grandmas sat down, interviewed the previous grandmas, got the stories together, and made sure that passed down Them stories passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah. My thing is, it wasn't even no social media back then. So how? That's what and some people may actually think I'm playing. I'm really not playing. I listened to what she said. I had a hard
That's
time
your first mistake, Roger. You listening. You shouldn't listen.
No. I listen, quote unquote, in context. In context, I listen because I need to be able to understand what's being presented to me. Because if grandma escaped granddad, escape means we ain't talk to that dude no more. You see what I'm saying? So if how do you know granddad and grandma escaped from him? How do you even know granddad? Because the kids were small. She said she left with 2 small children. So if she left with 2 small children, that would say, okay, well, that's mama, possibly, and my auntie. What they don't know granddad. So how do we connect these pieces? You get what I'm saying? How do we connect this? Who was able to pass the information down where it actually gets to Lena and makes some level of sense? You know, grandma escaped granddad. She only had 2 kids. The 2 kids don't even they don't know where dude live or nothing because they were small children, which means they don't talk to their father. So they just totally out the picture. So now some out the picture people is giving you stories or context about what happened to a man they don't really know. Probably wasn't even old enough to even remember. How does this stuff work? You know, but somehow you know granddad, because you know granddad well enough that now grandma number 3 is telling you out her own mouth something that she really shouldn't even be telling you at all. How does that actually happen? You know, and Lena, I'm not saying you a liar or anything like this. I just think you get fooled. You just believe stuff your family told you, and you didn't really put no real thought into how this actually could work, how it actually be maneuverable, because you know people you really shouldn't know. You know, and Great Black Reset, you said maybe Lena connected to grandma number 3, possibly. And if that's true, how she know about grandma number 1?
Exactly.
Well,
I
Roger, let
mean,
me ask you.
I have never known women to sit around and talk glowingly and in favor of the women that were in the lives of the men that came, of the women that came before them in that same man's life. They never talk good about those women. Women think we stupid, man. They just really just think we stupid.
But let me ask y'all this: what they got to do with now? Like, what they
Well,
got to do with the men you date right now?
I,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you what it got to do with now. This is why black women should be the least protected. Because, see, no matter what we've done for black women, they always got this bad narrative about us. So I think black men need to really start thinking about the fact how there's always this bad narrative about us, but no one ever seems to have any proof of where this narrative came from. You know, 1865, you know, that, I mean, it's a while ago. It is a while ago. How many generations since 1865? What are we talking about? Around 150 years, something like that.
But about 4 generations.
You know, where all these people coming from? When did black men ever have time to beat on women? Was we doing it in slavery? When slavery came to an end, was we doing it in Jim Crow? Is that when it really took off? Everybody's scared about what the white man doing. You got people running around in sheets, killing folks, dragging people, and all that type of stuff. When did black men have a time to beat all these women?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to figure out like the black women may give them more power than black men since slavery.
Well, my thing is, we can't figure out too much at the same time.
Okay.
To beat a woman and it's accepted in society, you got to have a time frame where society accepted that. So when did it happen? Because if you can figure out when, you might be able to figure out why. Because you can understand the context of what was going on if you figure out when it happened. So, if I know when it happened, I can say, okay, well, these type of cars were on the street. Society was moving in this direction. We had this type of president. You can figure out stuff if I can figure out when. You know what I'm saying? So when did black men have a chance to be all these random women out here? Well, I can't even say random women because people saying folks was married and everything. When did we have time to beat all these women? Because, brothers was out here getting lynched. Was we beating them right before we got lynched? Is that what it was? Was we beating them after Emmett Till got killed? Or we was beating them before Emmett Till got killed? How did the Emmett Till situation affect the women getting beat up? When we was trying to, when we was sharecropping, was we beating on them then? Is that what happened? We was beating on them while we were sharecropping? While we trying to get paid fair wages with a white man that's always cheating us, talking about he got to go make all the sales deals on his own, and they don't mess with niggers, so you got to stay back, and I go talk to the other white men, and then I'll let you know what we made. Was that when he was beating on women? It seemed kind of funny to me that you would have all these droves of men beating on women, because I don't know what woman don't got the story about how somebody was doing some beating on them. Shout out to Trail Billy. Trail Billy said November 1872 to March 1873.
That's an exact date.
I'm just saying, man. How do you beat on women without the time to beat on the women? You working 12 hours a day, maybe 16, but you got time enough to beat on women. Ain't that about nothing? But y'all, Truth Teller's coming up, so let me go ahead and let Truth Teller get the mic. Truth, you got it, my brother.
What up, fellas? Can y'all hear me? I got these T-Move earbuds in. Make sure y'all can hear me.
They workable. They definitely workable. I'll say that.
They work well. Okay. I have a story to tell. Somebody in my family, once upon a time, made a claim that's similar to what the young lady said earlier. And, somebody put their hands on somebody and they had to run and escape with the kids. And this was told my whole life. Like, your great-great-grandmother had to run because of the third and this and the third. So, we all got older and, people start dying. And somebody on a deathbed said, oh, what happened was she got caught cheating with another man. And she had to make her escape route. So they told the story for decades, to where she did get her hands put on her, but she probably got it put on her for a very good reason. She violated horribly. And I've noticed that women do this, right? Because they, in the back of their mind, they know that there's a price for their protection. And if they look like they're not paying the cost, they're violating, which means they don't deserve it. And they know this, which is why when they tell the story, it's always a storybook version of what really happened. And y'all can attest to this. Every time a woman of any kind, any breed, any race, any ethnicity tells a story about something that happened to another woman, all the horrible stuff the woman did is not included in the story. It never happened. Nobody ever saw it. She's never been that way. She's a good woman. Blah, blah, blah. And suddenly, the dude is a horrible. The guy that actually has been with her for decades, taking care of us, buying us stuff, family, sacrificing. He's the bad guy because just one day he stood up and got so mad that he had to put his hands on her because he's a monster deep down. This is what I'm talking about. Listen, back in the day, women had to earn the protection that they got. And they've gotten very comfortable believing now that they don't have to earn it, they deserve it. Is what they think. Men
That's a
think they
darn.
deserve it too, for no other reason besides the fact that they're a woman. They don't do anything. They didn't earn it. They're not respectable. They don't. They deserve it because they're a woman, not that they deserve it because they're a good woman.
And
Yeah,
I'm
that
gonna say,
makes sense to me. That
stay
makes
where
a
you
lot of
at.
sense.
Hold on, stay where you at, True Tell. You sound the best right there. Just so you know. Just so you know. All right. Well, go ahead, Bad, but I gotta say that again.
No, I'm saying that makes a lot of sense to me. That I agree with that. I think that makes a lot of sense. They don't want actually to have to do nothing. They just want things to have their way, have their cake and eat it too, with actually having to actually put in work and actually be respectable, and and earn the right protections of a man. But go on.
I think I like that point that was made with it being like a half truth. Like a lot of times you'll get like a half of a story. It's like when you have a kid that's like, he hit me. You're like, oh, but that's like after you spat in his ear and kicked him out of his chair and everything else that had transpired. You left all that part out.
Look, I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. I don't even believe this part of the story they're giving. I don't believe women just lie so regularly, y'all. And I say this time and time again, it don't even register as a lie to them. Again, the simple thing of, baby, you want something to eat? I'm about to go grab me something to eat. Are you hungry? They lie about that. Okay, she knows she's hungry, and she just gonna say, no, I'm not hungry. Why? So you can go there, get something, bring it back, and when you start eating, she can eat yours. Because she needs you to starve for her, so you can quote unquote prove your love. You know what I'm saying? you know, they don't think of that as a lie, but it's a lie. They just very comfortable lying, and I think black men need to accept that they just very comfortable lying. And I'm gonna tell you what my daddy told me. He said, "See, the thing about a lie is you don't know where they started the lie." So I just throw out the whole story because I don't know where you started the lie in the story. It is what it is. I don't believe that man hit you. I think you said the man hit you so you can give it drama to the story or go for effect in the story. Because, I don't believe you. Cause, see, it's hard for me to accept that black men beat on women when I see a bunch of men who are socialized to be afraid of women. That's what I see. And I'm not saying this to put black men down. I'm just telling the truth about what I see. I see a bunch of men socialized to be afraid of women. And this bunch of men that's afraid of women, the majority of them is beating on women at the same time. No, I don't believe it. My daddy also told me the truth got to make sense at the beginning, middle, and end. Where these men at? These men that kept telling us to let women slide on this, let women slide on that. Men that thought they was doing the right thing by saying, you always got to make sure she's protected and things like that. These are the kind of men that was beating on women. The men that was getting the fire hoses put on them during the civil rights era. Those are the men that was beating on the women. And a lot of times we don't even think about the counting that people say. Okay, when was your grandma and granddad in their 20s and 30s? What year was that? Okay, because a lot of times they be talking about civil rights era people. So they was marching in Selma while they was beating on the women. Is that what happened?
No, Roger. It was the men who said, "Oh, you got to hold the door open for ladies and let them through first. You got to put the jacket over the puddles. You don't want them stepping in water. You got to make sure you hold their hand and protect them when you on the date." It was those dudes, Roger.
But as soon as she gets smart with you beat the tide of her.
Hey, man. All right.
You put your jacket over the puddle for the woman, but as soon as she say something you don't like, you beat the living crap out of her. That don't make sense to me, man.
Right. I'm gonna beat her later, but I don't want her to be wet and dirty now. But I am gonna beat her later, so It's the balancing act, Roger. It's yin and yang.
I mean, sometimes we should ask somebody when they tell us these amazing stories, just like I'm sure Lena grandma told her a great and amazing story. But sometimes you gotta ask about like, well, how old were you around that time, or what year was this happening? Was this in 75? Was this in 68? You know what I'm saying? Like, what year did all this go down? Was this in 52? Yeah, now, just so we clear, y'all, I think they killed Emmett Till in 55. If my memory is correct, they killed Emmett Till in 55, right? So that was like the event that they give a lot of credit to, like truly kicking off the push of the civil rights. Like it all came together kind of right around 55. And then you'll hear somebody say, well, my grandma said this. What was she doing in 55? You know what I'm saying? How close to 55 was this when your grandma went through X, Y, and Z? And I know that's hard for people to think about, but let's think about it, y'all. If you near 50, okay, how old was your grandma 50 years ago? You got a decent range of your lifetime. If you anywhere near 50, well, think about, before you was born. How old was your grandma then?
Roger, my mother is old by most people my age bracket comparison, right? My mother is solid. Y'all, if y'all don't know, my mother was a preteen in 1955. My mother was 12 or 13 years old. So your grandmother, that was my mother. So your grandmother is either my mother's age or older. That means she was in her teens or early 20s in the 50s, which means she was born in the 30s. So what exactly did this whole quadri of men beating on women happen? Like, when did this occur? What the hospital records at?
You know why they tell these stories? Because we can't verify it. Because it was so long ago, they can just say anything.
Well, I think it's not just that we can't verify it. It goes unchallenged because people don't even think about when this supposedly happened. Because I hear women say this stuff, and for years now, I've been thinking like, y'all be talking about stuff that was like the civil rights era. So the men was marching, but they was beating on the women while they was marching. It sounds crazy to me. How old are you people? Like, what did they really see? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand. You know what I'm saying? My father was around. I get it. Civil rights era. He was a young man at that time. He was over 18, not that much over 18. You know what I'm saying? So, like, was they beating women in?
I mean, a lot of people's grandparents were sharecroppers in the South. So I don't know when they found time to beat on each other, working like 10 from sun up to sundown.
Well, that's all I'm trying to say, bro. Like, how far back are we going? Because you go too far back, we still in slavery now. We still in slavery. You go too far.
I see what y'all problem is. Y'all listening and trying to understand instead of just believing. See, you're supposed to believe before you listen. That's what's wrong with you niggas.
I ain't go front, Roger. So the reason why I made that quote early in the show, that on that first video, that the chick in the dry cleaner. So I don't know if y'all peeped the way she told the story. She wasn't really paying attention. The dude just told her she ain't supposed to be on her phone, and I didn't really hear him, so I just kept talking. Now we all have had experience with black women.
That sound like a black woman. That do sound.
Yeah, I don't sound like. And the black women who have to go to a dry cleaners, that's not even really a dry cleaners. That's a laundromat to do their laundry. We all that does have a cell phone and mad about where she at in life. You think if a strange dude just out of nowhere tell you, get off your cell phone, that's what her response is gonna be to him? I just want everybody to understand that the lie started early in this show, just so we understand. It started real early. And when I made that comment, I was actually joking. I know she knew she was disrespectful. I'm sure she said more than just what she said to him.
Look, that woman wasn't scared of that
No,
black
she
dude.
did.
She wasn't scared of no black man. She probably called him all
Wait a
kinds of
minute.
names and said all kinds of evil stuff.
Well, now, I'm gonna agree with you.
Wait a minute, truth tellers. How sweet she said that she replied to this man that ain't true. Is that what you're insinuating, sir?
Sir, if
Because
she
she
knew how to
sound
be
real sweet.
even half, if she even knew how to be half that sweet, she wouldn't be in the laundromat in the middle of the day talking about she on her cell phone. I don't understand, sir.
Now,
You,
Can y'all gentlemen hear me?
all right, hold on 1 second. Let me just say this real quick. I'm gonna agree with Truth Teller. I don't think that was the only thing she said when he made whatever comment he made. Her just saying, I don't think it was just a quick and easy comment. I'm a totally agree with you on that, Truth Teller. She definitely took a lot of thought off what she said to that man in response. But let me welcome Gitmo to the show because this is his first time here. Gitmo, welcome to the show, my brother. Have you been, if you haven't been listening long, I'm gonna go ahead and just let you get a 2-minute opening statement, so you can go ahead and say what you want to say, my brother. And then we get into other stuff. But go ahead.
I just wanted to say, as I was listening to y'all make, the question of when did the so alleged beatings occurred? Hey, you know what? I'm beginning to think it's just a scare tactic back in the day that they told the grandfathers to keep them from not going to the other side of town, if you see what I'm saying. By spreading that false narrative, you see what I'm saying? I know for a fact my granddad, you know what I'm saying, had two families from the other side of town. Well, if we put out the narrative,
Brother, you going in and out. You sounded good. So I mean, go ahead. I'm gonna try to tell you to stop somewhere because you was going in and out where we could and couldn't hear you. And I want you to be heard.
only thing I'm saying is the false narrative of
That's a little brother, man.
violence was really concocted to keep granddad from going starting another family on the other side of town, in my opinion. That's it. Hello? Can you hear me?
I actually kind of agree. I do think they're using it as a scare tactic, really.
Yeah.
To make sure you niggas stay in line.
Exactly.
And
Look. If your granddad had the ability or was a charismatic man, how would you stop him from going to the other side of town? Without the false narrative, you know he beat on women, he beat on women. So then the other women want to get beat on, right? So you see what I'm saying? It's kind of, that's all I'm saying. That's all I wanted to say, really, fellas. You know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying the discussion between you all.
Well, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you for being here. Had you been listening to the channel long, or you kind of new?
Actually, I'm kind of new, but I got wind of you through Zeke, actually.
Well, I mean, Mr. G, a good man. What can I say? He's a good man.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, brother. Welcome. Okay.
Yep, I'm subscribed and notified, so you'll be seeing more of it.
All right. Well, I'm glad to see you here, brother. Hope to see you in the future more. That's for sure.
Word. Peace.
And I do believe you make a good point about this being some form of a scare tactic, and I just want brothers to think about what I'm saying, some of this stuff, because like I say, my daddy said the truth got to make sense in the beginning, middle, and the end. Now we hear these women. You can hear a woman saying she's getting beat on today, and you could just simply say, well, why don't you just leave? And at the end of that, we all know she can. We know how society is. We know she can leave. There's not even a question on if she can leave or not. So now if she said, well, my mama was getting beat on, you can say, well, how come your mama didn't just leave? Because now we talking something 20 years ago, 30 years ago? When they say grandma, my thing is grandma couldn't leave? How old is grandma? Like what year are folks really even talking about? Because the civil rights movement, we just got the Civil Rights Act signed in 1964. That ain't that long ago. That's 60 years ago, basically. So when was grandma out here hot to trot? When was she in the street? When was she meeting granddaddy? And what was they doing during that time? So they was being totally oppressed in the country with all this stuff. You went through the redlining. You went through all this bad behavior white people could openly express toward black people. And that's when black men was beating on the women. Yet the women didn't say nothing because they seemed to be in line for civil rights, though. So nobody said anything. Y'all had a whole march on Washington and nobody said anything.
Roger, come on, man. You just don't know the value. You don't know the value of the front seat on the bus, player. You got to go through some stuff to be able to sit there. I'm just saying. It's important.
Ain't none of these grandmothers got no broken noses. They make you think they was MMA fighters. They ain't got no cauliflower ears.
They should have a boxer nose.
Nothing, bro.
They should have a boxer nose.
What is going on, bro?
Their nose should be flat, like a boxer that's been in like Shane Mosley or something, man. They should be looking like Shane Mosley.
Our grandfathers did some heavy lifting at work. They did some real physical labor, and you're trying to tell me these men that was so physically capable and so physically abusive, none of our grandmothers are disfigured at all, not a one.
No, they not even missing teeth.
Come on, bro.
So granddaddy couldn't slap a tooth out your mouth after all the times he done slapped across the mouth. Not one tooth came out. Not one.
Now he whooping grandma Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but she somehow outlived him. What?
These grandmas don't have no stress.
Come on, bro.
They out here getting beat on, but they stress free at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them outliving the men. Sometimes by a couple decades they outlive the men.
Come on, bro. You got beat on every day, every other day for 30, 40 years while raising children, and you outlived the man that beat on you. Make that make sense, man.
Well, man, the women were tougher back in the day, man. They're like Teflon.
Y'all know I ain't never seen my grandma with a black eye. Now maybe some of y'all is in a different section of y'all family. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I'm thinking about all the grandkids. I'm probably somewhere toward the middle. If you like kind of one of the older grandkids when it comes to your grandparents, either side of your family, it don't make no difference. Did you ever see grandma with a black eye? Did the older kids tell you about the time they saw grandma with a black eye?
I do have one example. I have an aunt
who used to get beat on. But guess what? She's still married to this day to the same dude. So who am I to criticize? Why would I think that's a bad thing? Obviously, it's a functional part of their relationship.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. It's a lot of women.
Love tapping a lot, Roger. We just gotta put, how does a BGS put it? We Klingons, man. You gotta respond to Klingons a certain way, Roger, or they just not gonna love you back.
The Klingon mating,
yeah, the mating ritual. You gotta respond a certain way.
Well, I'm gonna say, when it comes down to it, man, women tell black men on a regular basis that y'all can't handle us. I need a man that can handle me. Okay. Now, we all can try to interpret what that's supposed to mean. Okay.
Hold on, Roger. Hold on, Roger. Let me clarify something. You're trying to tell me when a woman tells you that she needs a man to handle her, was she trying to tell you she needs a man that's strong enough to slap her in her face?
Now, I'm saying we got to start making some sense about what they mean by that, bro. So, I mean, it would make sense to me that she's trying to tell us that you ain't beating her right.
That's exactly what she's trying
That's
to say.
I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking
She
about.
telling
I
you,
thought about that a lot.
she telling you she knows she's a horrible person, and she needs somebody that's going to be able to correct her horribleness.
You ain't man
All
enough
right,
to beat
sis.
me.
Either that or she telling you your backhand is weak. That's what one or the other. She telling you your backhand, or she telling you that you need to get your shit together so you can, manage the house appropriately and all members inside of it.
I mean, I'm gonna say even in that movie, y'all, when she came back running back talking about you told Harpo to beat me, she was still married to Harpo.
Hey, did they ever show what happened to Harpo? Did they ever show what happened to Harpo after he got beat down in that movie? I don't remember them showing. They showed like the girl, but they didn't show Harpo. Did they ever show what Harpo looked like after that fight?
He got left. Wasn't he at that same dinner table for the big finale? I think Harpo was at that dinner table.
Yeah, but did they show him like what happened to him after the fight? Like
when
what he looked like?
Got into it. I mean, you talking about after the finale or like during the middle?
No. When she came up there and she said you told Harpo to beat me, and she looked like she had been in a fight. Did they ever show what Harpo looked like after that fight?
Well, I mean,
cause Harpo lost that fight. You know he lost that fight, right?
Well, it definitely was at least implied that Harpo lost that fight. Yeah, but why would they show that? Because at the end of the day, they not trying to show nothing about the men being in a good. They're not trying to show the man as a victim. So you're not gonna show Harpo broke up.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my point.
That's my point. If you want the woman to be in a victorious situation, but there's only so much they're gonna show, because the whole thing is the women are the victims, not the men. Yeah,
but you want to make reference to that second video, Roger, and this is a lesson young men have to learn. And listen, man, I don't care. You think your life is worthless. Your life is still more valuable than hers. You might have been locked up. You might be about to get locked up. You ain't got no job. You homeless. Your life is still more valuable than hers. And I don't know why you would let a phone call from your sister destroy your life. You didn't ask her no questions. My sister called me like that. I'm like, what did you do? Why he slapped you? Or why did he hit you? I'm not going to just ride out because he said he hit me. Oh, no, you can't. And my next question to her would have been, are you leaving? If she say yeah, I'm leaving, I'm like, so you can call her for me. I cannot sacrifice myself for a woman that is not mine.
The illest part is what made the boyfriend even think that was a good joke to play.
He's stupid. But he's not the real stupid one. The stupid one are the niggas on the phone. And the real stupid ones is the nigga their friends who said we gonna ride with you. They don't even know why.
Don't require no details.
Nothing. Right? They don't know if this dude is doing something stupid. They're gonna ride out, not even ask. Because my boy said, "Oh, such and such putting his hands on my sister." Oh, what happened? Tell me, what's the story? Oh, I don't know. I'm just going over there. Well, hold on, player. I ain't going over there. And this is a love spat. Nigga, I ain't getting involved in no goddamn love spat. I'm sorry. So that's what I'm saying. You ain't gonna get me to ride out with some other. You are protecting and sacrificing yourself for somebody else's woman. And that's the truth. If it's your mama, your sister, your cousin, your auntie, she's not yours. You have a responsibility to yourself and your family that you cannot do You cannot make those kind of sacrifices for people that are not under you.
Well, I think you right a good point because if you're gonna help your friend, you got to at least be able to explain it to folks of why you even went there in the first place. And I would say time and time again, y'all, your relationship got to be over before I'm involved. Like that's got to be already a done deal. That's got to already be squashed. Don't call me because you got hit. Call me like the next day when you decide that y'all don't want to be together no more. I'm finna move out or something like. Call me later on. Don't call me the day you got hit. I can't do nothing for you the
Roger,
day you got hit.
I'm not going. I tell my sister straight up, I ain't going over there to fight nobody. I'll go over there and help watch you. That's the most I'm gonna do. And if something pop off, I'm gonna call the police. I'm not getting involved in your mess. It's not my mess to clean up.
No,
Here, I'll give you some support. I'm good.
I'm there.
And I
I'm
got
with you
3 sisters.
100%.
Sorry, I got 4 sisters. So y'all don't know. I got one older. I rolled.
No, we lost you, brother.
Not
We
only
done
that.
lost. We lost you for about
Sorry.
10 seconds where you hear nothing.
I said I got 4 sisters, man. One older and 3 younger. I don't roll like this. This don't even make no lick bit of sense. Because if my sister called me with this nonsense, she's getting screamed on. I'm screaming on her. I ain't screaming on no other dude. What? How I look screaming on another dude because he felt like he wanted to do something to his woman? Like, who am I? And a lot of men forget what their lane is. When you step out of your lane, you're wrong. You can't even say, "Well, I'm trying to help my sister." For what? You're not her man. You stepping out of your lane. Once you step out of your lane, there's no no moral, no correction. All of that is out the door. You're wrong, and you're gonna stay wrong. Ain't no way for you to fix that.
Now, I do say I'm not trying to tell nobody, no brother, how to handle his woman. Because the day I do that, that's me accepting another man can try to tell me how to handle my woman. If you get to go beat somebody up because they get into it with your sister, what makes you believe they don't get to come beat you up because you got into it with your woman? Heck, you already even justified it based on your own behavior because you went after somebody who had a problem with your sister. So how you gonna dare tell another man he can't come after you when you had a problem with your woman? And to me that don't make sense. You know, I'm with you the truth. I don't want nothing to do with no love spat. Don't call me the day he hit you. Let that be over with. Let the emotions calm down. And then when you call me and say, "Yeah, me and my guy broke up. I need help moving." Sure, I can help you move, but don't call me when you got hit. Unless you're ready to leave with nothing. Now, if you're gonna leave and just if you're gonna walk out and just leave everything there, that's the one thing. But I don't really trust women to do that either. I'm just gonna keep it real. I don't trust women to do that either. And then a lot of women will try to keep up mess by saying, "I gotta go back over there so I can pick up such and such." No, you just going over there to see dude. That's all that is. You left yourself a bunch of reasons why you could go back. I'm not gonna be involved in that either. And I definitely don't want to be involved when it's heated. Cause if he go pull that thing out, what if he shoot me thinking that I'm some man trying to get up with you? Now he can say I'm sorry, but I'm shot at that point. If I live through that, I don't want to hear no "I'm sorry" after you accidentally shot me. Don't accidentally shoot me. Accidentally shoot somebody else, not me. I ain't got time for all that. Okay, that's real talk. I ain't got time to be getting shot because y'all playing with each other at the end of the day. And I do look at it as they playing with each other because they don't even really mean to break up. All this yeah, y'all want to know one of the worst terms I think is out there is this off again, on again relationship. We be off and on. What are you talking about, man?
Women like that, man. They like that stuff. That's like foreplay to them. They like that type of stuff. They like the drama. Like that feeds them somehow. like food.
And well, my thing is, this is why black women should be the least protected women. You know, I think black men got to really do something with this narrative, because we feel some type of way when black women say that they're the least protected. And I think black women should be the least protected. You the least married, and you probably the biggest liars. Okay, a black man can't separate from a black woman without the woman calling the police talking about he doing something illegal. He's beating on me. You know, like I said, the video I saw yesterday, the woman was like, he's pushing on me. She called 911. He's pushing on me, and I think she said he got a gun on that one too. So now you telling people to come to the house, and the man is already being violent towards you as a woman. That's what you want the police to think when they pull up at the house and your man involved. Yeah, that don't sound like she liked me to you. I mean, that don't sound like love to me. I'm gonna say that. You call the police on me, that don't sound like love. You know, I had a chick one time call the police on me because I put her out the car. Well, I'm gonna call the police on you, and she thought we supposed to be together after you done called the police. How can we be together if you think that if I don't do exactly what you want me to do, you're gonna call in a third party? How are we supposed to work as a couple after that? Oh, but I didn't mean it. What difference does it make whether you meant it or not? You did it. And at the end of the day, if I'm with you, isn't that gonna make it where if you call the police on me the second time, now I look like a fool?
Yeah, and Roger, that proves that they don't have an issue with protection, because they wouldn't be calling a third party to get you in line if they had an issue with protection. You know.
Yeah, well, we've been through so much, and I love you. Not enough to call that you wouldn't call the police.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, if she has a third party to call to keep you in line, Roger, she has no concerns about protection. That's just what that means. You see?
She is trying to control you, though. That's just a method of control.
I understand, but listen to what I'm saying. If you can get a third party to get your man to stay in line, you don't fear your man.
No,
exactly.
they don't.
You see?
No, they don't.
Yeah, that's crazy work when you think about it. She gonna tell you that she'll tell you that she's scared of you, but she'll call somebody else to handle her business. Yeah, that don't sound like somebody who's afraid. They do that in movies all the time. You know, you have the big time mob boss. He'll be there, and he'll just tell somebody else to go take out somebody. They do that in movies all the time. So she's sitting there like a mob boss. Well, I'm just gonna call my minions on you, and I'm gonna let them rough you up a little bit, and we'll see how you act after that. That don't sound cool to me, and it don't sound like the woman that's actually on my side. You know, so I don't know why you would be with the woman who keeps showing you she's not on your side. But I'm gonna say this: as men, we don't listen when we should, because women are telling us stuff based on all kinds of things they're doing. We don't listen the way we should. Now, I'm not saying this to a woman in the context of you should be led by your woman, but you should listen to your woman so you can see who you're really dealing with. And if you really look at your woman to see who you're really dealing with, I'm pretty sure our relationships will go a lot shorter than what they do on a regular basis. Because y'all know how it goes. I'm going to say it again. Black men won't break up with nobody. But that's our own fault. But we can fix that because it's something we control.
I think it's like, I think we grew up and we're conditioned for it. You know what I'm saying? We got that soldier chip in our back.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is what we used to, because this is what we always seen. This is how they always treated us.
We're socialized that she's always right. That's why you don't leave. You don't leave because you trying to do the honorable thing and she's right, and you trying to figure out how to fix yourself when there's nothing to fix. Yeah. We just don't think about it in that way. But she's always right. That's what we're taught. And who wants to lead a woman that's always right? Because logically that don't make sense. But you can't really protect somebody like that anyway. You can't leave somebody like that anyway. And you definitely shouldn't provide for somebody who's like that. Because if she's always right, y'all don't need to be together.
But ain't that the way your mama taught you? Ain't that the way you feel about your mama? And she like instilled it in you?
I mean, I get what you're saying. For the most part, I think most guys will. I don't feel that way about my mama, but but I think for the most part, yeah, people gonna feel that way about their mamas, and I think their mamas do that damage. At the end of the day, I know my mama's just a woman. When it comes down to it, so my mama ain't nowhere in the world my mama could have always been right. My mom has not always made the best decisions. I've said plenty of times the reason my mama gets some of the grace she get from me because of who my father is. She mess up everything.
But how old were you when you realized that?
I don't really remember how old I was when I realized it, but I would say I do remember like being probably early 20s about checking my mama when I told her, look, we not on the same level no more. I'm above you because I'm a man and you're a woman. If we go out and something happens, I got to protect you. You're not at the point where you're going to be quote unquote protecting me. I'm going to be protecting you, trying to make sure you don't get shot or something. So, I just don't see my mom the same way I used to see it. And I've told my mama straight up, I say, because you happen to be my mother, you are close enough to me where you can actually offer me advice and I would actually listen to what you say. That don't mean I'm going to do anything about what you said, but I at least listen to it because you are my mom. Because, straight up, it's a bunch of women that I ain't going to even listen to. I ain't going to even let you make a suggestion to me. But since you my mama, you can at least get a suggestion in. You plug where you can at least make your voice be heard.
And she gets 2 minutes.
Exactly. Like my mama can get 2 minutes. Other women not necessarily. They're not gonna get 2 minutes. My mama, because she my mama, she can always say, "Hey, this is what I think," and I'd at least listen to her. I ain't saying I'm gonna actually do anything she say, but I will at least listen to her. But that's about
You
it.
know what? You got a point. And that point should be broadened out. See, your mother you've known your mother obviously, and she has earned that type of respect with you for you to at least consider what she's saying. That's why as men, should not be out here just reacting to what is happening with women or what they're saying because they have not earned that type of respect. You should not be listening to nor reacting to any woman in any situation that you don't know. You just shouldn't because you can't trust them. 75% of them ain't married, so they ain't worth trusting. They should have to earn your trust and earn your ear as a man. Every single one of them.
Real talk. Real talk. And I'm gonna say, if they didn't earn any man's trust, because we even when we talk about women as married, we sometimes we see it like it's a difficult thing for a woman to do. No, you didn't came across hundreds and thousands of men in your lifetime. Ain't nobody marry you. That should hold weight with you. If nobody marries you, society looks at you and they see a certain thing. And when they see a certain thing, I'm understanding they're avoiding you. It's not that nobody wants to marry you. It's not that your standards are too high. Because number one, if you think that, you're looking at something the wrong way anyway. And even if black folks being matriarchal, and I get that. But even if I accept that the quote unquote men weren't quote unquote good enough, nobody wanted to be good enough for you. How great can a woman be when no man to step up to the plate? That don't speak of greatness to me. That says something a little bit off. But y'all, I'm finna get ready to wrap this up. Okay. I'm finna get ready to wrap this up. Because I think people done got out what they wanted to get out. So I think my job is pretty much done. So now I'm gonna go into closing statements. No placeholder. Anything you want to say before we cut out of here?
Yeah, Roger. Yes, great, excellent show. Great job. I agree with the overall theme of the show, which is that this is just gaslighting for women in this current time, not being able to basically maintain their relationship, not having discipline, and having an environment that endorses lack of discipline and lack of order. You know what I'm saying? So I totally agree with you, Roger, that it is it is a handicap, especially in our current times, for our overall families and our overall relationship if we take away the capability of the men to discipline the women. So this narrative of basically that men are just beating on women is just basically it's more or less overall detrimental than it is positive, because I understand that we want to quote unquote create a culture of like of a certain level of civility, but I don't know, man. In our attempt to be quote unquote civilized, we are just descending more into debauchery and degeneracy. But anyway, I'll end it. Thank you.
All right. Great Black Reset. What about you, my brother?
Black women are the least married and the most disagreeable. They're supposed to be the most protected by just simply by the man.
They
I
supposed to
lay
be the
my
what?
plane there.
I think you want to say it again. They supposed to be what?
They're supposed to be the least protected just simply by the man.
There you go. Now that sounds
Just by the
reasonable.
man. Yeah, I probably said it backwards, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the least married and the most disagreeable.
Hey, I like
No.
that. I like that. You know, that's real talk. All right. Dirty Cat, you got anything to say before we cut up out of here? Okay, well, I'm thinking he might have stepped away. He ain't said nothing in a good little minute.
Been in the
Dirty Cat
bathroom for a
going
minute.
once. Dirty Cat going twice. All right, Bad Black Gamer, you got it, my brother. Anything you want to say before we cut up out of
Hey,
here?
all I gotta say is sarcastically believe all women. That's all I gotta say, man. If you want to.
All right, well, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up by saying, y'all, look, at some point in time, we as men gonna have to start fighting back with this narrative that, you know, black women are the least protected. And I'm not saying we fight against the narrative. I'm saying we need to start telling black women when they challenge us on this, you're supposed to be the least protected. And Great Black Reset added something, because I've been saying they are the least married, so they are supposed to be the least protected. But you know what? Him saying they're the most disagreeable actually makes sense to add to that. You are the least married and the most disagreeable women. You're supposed to be the least protected. That actually makes sense. And that's real talk. So I'm going to leave it right there, y'all. Let's do what makes sense. Y'all have a great and wonderful rest of y'all day. Appreciate y'all for listening. We'll see y'all next time. 9 a.m. Chicago time, not your time. 9 a.m. Chicago time. If you're new here, you can always subscribe. If you can handle this type of content, you can always subscribe. I'll see y'all next time around. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.